Chapter 1069. Tower of Learning. Yufeng's expression is filled with arrogance as she glanced at Qin Yun and said, "Now you know how awesome I am." Qin Yun smiled without a word. Yufeng took out her flying boat and brought Qin Yun and Gu Qiufei into the inner region of Great Ancient College. This time, they couldn't just casually enter. They had to go through the gate leading to the inner area. A barrier had already been activated in the sky. Moreover, they had to be inspected when they entered through the main gate. The main reason was that there were people at the gate holding some tools to compare their auras. Yufeng was very nervous when she was being inspected, but she managed to smoothly pass the inspection. She was secretly amazed by Qin Yun's talismans. They had successfully concealed her energy aura, or she would have been discovered. Not long after, Yufeng brought Qin Yun and Gu Qiufei to a 7-story pagoda. After Yufeng arrived, she took out a sound transmission magic tool and sent a message. A benevolent old granny quickly opened the door and came out. After seeing Yufeng, she said with a smile, "Xiaofeng, long time no see. Why don't you come to see me more often?" "Granny Mu, I am very busy." Yufeng looked at Gu Qiufei and said, "This is the little girl I told you about before. She is very obedient. Don't bully her." Granny Mu smiled and said, "How could I bully her? When I was teaching you, I was often bullied by you." Qin Yun said, "Teacher Yufeng, you're actually so fierce. You even bully such a good grandmother." Yufeng glared at him. Granny Mu said, "Xiaofeng, why are your eyes painted black? This is personality you don't understand." Yufeng said, "Granny Feng, I am leaving. I will come to see you again next time. Take good care of Xiao Fei. She is a very troublesome big brother." Yufeng looked at Qin Yun and said, "It is this brat." Qin Yun said to Gu Qiufei, "Xiao Fei, you must properly learn from Granny Feng. You must be a bit more serious and communicate with her more." Gu Qiufei obediently nodded her head and said, "Big brother, I will definitely study hard and refine pills for you to eat." Granny Mu said with a face full of affection, "What a good little girl, and so sensible. It's hard to meet such an easygoing student these days. I will definitely take good care of you and teach you like my granddaughter." "Thank you, Granny Mu." Gu Qiufei is also very happy while holding Granny Mu's hand. Granny Mu stroked Gu Qiufei's head, then looked at Qin Yun and said with a smile, "Little big brother, do you want to become Xiaofeng's student?" Yufeng immediately shouted, "I don't want this kind of student." If Qin Yun were to be her student, he would definitely go crazy because she really couldn't do anything to Qin Yun. "No, I also want to be a teacher. She is not worthy to be my teacher." Qin Yun looked at Yufeng and said with a smile, "What did you say? Am I that bad? I was one of the top 10 teachers last year." Yufeng furiously shouted, "That's because they are afraid of you. That's why they gave you a spot." Qin Yun chuckled. "Oomph." Yufeng grabbed Qin Yun's wrist and said, "I will take you to become a teacher. You will know how difficult it is to become one of the top 10 teachers." Yufeng threw Qin Yun onto the boat and quickly flew away. Granny Mu said with a smile, "That girl Xiaofeng has finally met her match." Gu Qiufei also nodded with a smile. There are many pavilions and gardens inside the Great Ancient College. Qin Yun can only see the Dark Assembly School District. There are also Holy Assembly and Demon Beast Alliance's school districts. They're even bigger. Demon Beast Alliance's school district is the biggest. There's a very big lake for water demon beasts to live in. Dark Assembly School District is the smallest. Qin Yun looked at the Nether Sunstar in the distance and said with a sigh, "I really want to go there and take a look. Teacher Yufeng, can you take me there? If possible, I will refine a good set of equipment for you. I also want to take you there, but those who are not disciples of Nether Sect cannot use the teleportation formation. I am powerless. Wait until I become the sect master of Nether Sect. I will make an exception and take you there." Yufeng said, "First refine a set of equipment for me. After I become the sect master, I will surely fulfill my promise." "How long will that take?" Qin Yun rolled his eyes. "You are now mid-stage Martial Emperor. Won't it take you a long time to become peak Martial Emperor? Moreover, you still have to prepare to cross tribulation. You will have to cross tribulation to become a disciple of Nether Sect. I will surely become the sect master before you. Yu Feng very confidently said, It will take me at most 1,000 years. 1,000 years? I would have already become an immortal. Qin Yin curled his lips and said, Relax. I will surely cross tribulation very quickly. Yu Feng's expression is filled with disbelief. She lightly groaned in disdain, pointed at a kilometer-tall pagoda, and said, That is the great ancient college's Institute Pagoda. Many teachers and outstanding students live there. I will take you there to register. So long as you pass the teacher assessment, you will become a teacher. So troublesome. Qin Yin very suspiciously looked at Yu Feng and asked, Are you really Nether Sect's holy maiden? Why don't you have any authority? I thought I could easily become a teacher by relying on my relationship with you. You want to become a teacher of Great Ancient College? That requires the approval of 3 major powers of Great Ancient College. I alone have no say. Yu Feng is very angry facing Qin Yun's suspicions. You don't understand anything. You only know how to randomly question me. That Institute Pagoda is the center of dark, holy, and demon beast school districts. Teachers and outstanding students live there. The higher the floor, the more outstanding the person is. Yu Feng handed over a letter to Qin Yun and said, This is my introduction letter. I will only say that you are a friend of my friend's friend's disciple. This way, people won't suspect our relationship. Qin Yun took the letter and said with frown, So what if they suspect? I am worried that people will let their imagination run wild and think that we are boyfriend and girlfriend. When we arrive at the entrance of the Institute Pagoda, I will throw you down and you can go in by yourself. Yu Feng said, Oh, that's right. You signed a contract with me saying that I will protect you and make you my student. Now it needs to be changed. Soon after, she signed a new contract with Qin Yun. After signing the contract, Qin Yun was kicked off the boat. As soon as he left the boat, Yu Feng controlled the boat and flew away at the fastest speed possible. She is afraid that people will know that they are very close. What a strange woman. Qin Yun walked into the hall of the first floor with the introduction letter in his hand. There are many counters on the first floor. Qin Yun quickly saw a sign on one of the counters, Teacher Assessment Registration Point. He walked over, handed over the introduction letter to the woman, and said, I am here to register for teacher assessment. Name and cultivation? The woman asked. Qin Yun, Mid-Stage Martial Emperor. Qin Yun said, Mid-Stage Martial Emperor? Most of our students are late-stage and peak-stage martial emperors. With your cultivation, you can only teach children. The woman said with frown. Introduction letter. Yu Feng gave it to me. Qin Yun opened the introduction letter. After the woman read it carefully a few times, she said in amazement, All right, if you can pass the assessment, there will be no problem. You will have to pay 100 million star coins, registration fee, assessment materials, and if you fail, we will refund 80 million star coins. 100 million star coins? Qin Yun cursed Yu Feng in his heart. She actually did not tell him about this beforehand. It is clear that she is trying to swindle him. You don't have it? Didn't teacher Yu Feng tell you? The woman doubtfully asked. Of course she told me. She said that I will put it on her tab first, and then I will look for her later. You can also see, I am just a mid-stage martial emperor. How can I have 100 million? Qin Yun said with smile. With Yu Feng vouching for me, what are you worried about? All right, if we can't catch up to the amount, we will cancel your teacher qualification and blacklist you. The woman nodded, then took out a card and handed it over to Qin Yun, telling him to drip blood on it. Take this card to the 5th floor. You will know how to take the assessment. The woman pointed at the stairs. Many thanks, little sister. Qin Yun laughed, and then quickly walked towards the stairs. The woman lightly smiled. A mid-stage martial emperor wants to be a teacher? This is surely teacher Yu Feng's prank. This brat will surely be tormented to death. Teacher Yu Feng really knows how to play. Qin Yun arrived at the 5th floor. This is a very spacious hall. There are many middle-aged and old men here. Although there are some young people here, there are very few of them. After Qin Yun arrived, he also took the card and stood there like everyone else. After a long time, the assessment began. Now there are more than 300 people. If you want to become a teacher of Great Ancient College, You must have a certain level of ability to guide students. This assessment will test your ability in all aspects. An old man shouted from the front of the hall, "Everyone, please follow me to the 6th floor." The old man walked in the front, while everyone followed behind him. There is an empty hall on the 6th floor. It can accommodate several thousand people. The old man yelled, "Those who think their cultivation is the lowest, come to my side." Everyone looked at each other in dismay, because the cultivation of the people who came to be teachers is not low. Qin Yin discovered that all the people here are half-immortals. There are also some young people here who are first tribulation half-immortals, but none of them walked up. Qin Yin feels that the person with the lowest cultivation is none other than him. So he walked up. "Young man, what is your cultivation?" The old man looked at Qin Yin and doubtfully asked, "From your aura, you are only Martial Emperor. Senior has good eyesight. I am mid-stage Martial Emperor." Qin Yin said. Everyone is slightly stunned. A Martial Emperor wants to be a teacher, moreover a mid-stage Martial Emperor. Soon after, everyone burst into laughter. Qin Yin knew that this would be the result. Before he came, he did not know that all the teachers have such high cultivation. The old man yelled, "You are not allowed to laugh. Only those with high cultivation can become teachers. They also don't have to be old." Chapter 1070. Chapter 1070. Most handsome male teacher, someone said. High cultivation, strong strength, old age. It means that he is more outstanding in all aspects compared to youngsters with low cultivation. His cultivation is so low. If he becomes a teacher, he will mislead the students. The old man said with smile, "You all don't know. Many teachers are not necessarily super geniuses, but under their guidance, many people can surpass teachers. A teacher's duty is to guide students to avoid detours and make them cultivate properly. As long as they guide students well, they will be able to understand and become a good teacher." Qin Yin secretly praised the old man in his heart and said with smile, "Well said, Senior. I also think so. May I know Senior's honor name?" "Shui Wuya," the old man said with smile. "Little friend has a very good mentality. You actually have the courage to take the assessment." Qin Yin said with smile, "Senior Shui, when will the assessment begin?" Shui Wuya said, "The first round of assessment has already begun. It is to test your honesty. You are very honest, so you have passed the first round." Everyone became very dissatisfied and clamored. Qin Yin is very happy in his heart. He did not expect that he would pass the first round like this. Shui Wuya looked at Qin Yin's card and said with smile, "Qin Yin, you're the only one who has passed the first round. Everyone else will have to continue. You just need to watch from the side." Everyone cursed Qin Yin's mischievous smile in their hearts. He actually passed the first round so easily. "Wait a moment. I will give each of you a piece of paper. Write down the good deeds you have done on the paper." Shui Wuya took out a large stack of paper and handed it over to Qin Yin. He said, "I will trouble you to distribute it. Everyone will get one." Qin Yin took the stack of paper and began distributing it. Many people looked at him with disdain, saying that he is just a lucky bastard. While distributing the papers, Qin Yin discovered that they are not ordinary papers. They have runes carved on them. After you get the paper, you can start writing. Finish writing in an incense stick worth of time. Shui Wuya yelled. Many people immediately began writing down the good deeds they have done. Qin Yin is also very curious. He secretly looked at the content written by a few people. All of them are bragging. One person said that he saved several 100,000 people. Another said that he took care of a group of dying old people. They are all pretty much the same. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Shui Wuya chuckled and said, "Everyone, please drip your blood on the paper and pour your mental power into it. If what you've written is true, your paper will have other reactions." Everyone immediately obeyed. Qin Yin knew that there was something fishy about the papers. And now it was indeed so. Many people dripped their blood into their mental power. But not long after, some people's papers started burning. Qin Yin immediately felt very surprised because he stared at the person who wrote that he had saved hundreds of thousands of lives. The paper in his hand did not burn. There were more than 50 people who had their papers burned. Their faces were filled with shock, and their faces were filled with doubt. Did that guy really save hundreds of thousands of people? The guy looked so wretched and even said that I was lucky. How could he be such a good person? Qinyan also began to doubt life. Shui Wuya chuckled and said, "Those who did not burn the paper, who is willing to talk about their good deeds?" Me. A middle-aged man happily raised his hand and shouted. That middle-aged man was the wretched middle-aged man that Qinyan paid close attention to. That wretched middle-aged man cleared his throat and said in loud voice, "I once killed an evil dragon and saved hundreds of thousands of people. They were all very grateful to me. Although I was injured because of this, one of the people I saved was the grandson of an alchemist, so I was saved very quickly. Many people wanted to marry their daughters to me, but I am a very devoted person. I only love my 7 martial sisters who grew up with me, so I rejected them all." "Brother, you are boasting too much." Qinyan secretly shook his head. Others also burst into laughter filled with disbelief. Shui Wuya also laughed and said again, "Who else wants to talk about their good deeds?" An old man looked at the paper in his hand and said with grave expression, "When I went out to hunt beasts, I met a middle-aged man who was going through tribulation. He was struck by tribulation thunder and was injured all over. But I did not have any fear when facing tribulation thunder. I bravely rushed forward and blocked the tribulation thunder and helped him cross tribulation. At this time, many people are striving to be the first to talk about their good deeds." Shui Wuya waved his hand and said with a smile, "Let me tell you, everything that burned on that piece of paper was real. The one that didn't burn is fake. Didn't I tell you? If what you wrote is real, there will be a reaction. If your paper has no reaction, then what you wrote is fake." Those dozens of people who are doubting their life also started cheering. And other 200 people are cursing this old fox in their hearts. His schemes are so deep, especially that vulgar-looking middle-aged man. He is so embarrassed that he wants to find a hole to hide in. "You have not passed the test of honesty. You can go home." Shui Wuya shook his head and said with a smile. Qinyan can also see that this test is not only about honesty, it is also about kindness. These people have never done any good deeds, so they can only brag. This old man Shui's scheme is very brilliant. I must be a bit careful. Qinyan looked at Shui Wuya's smiling face and secretly raised his guard. Everyone is also on guard against Shui Wuya's crafty scheme. Shui Wuya waved his hand. Golden light appeared and 50 people walked out of the golden light. Qinyan can see with a glance that these are 50 puppets. They are refined to look like real people. They are all tall and strong men. Shui Wuya said, "Each of you will get one of these students. These students don't know any martial skills. You must teach them martial skills within an hour. Moreover, you must teach them how to use their formidable internal power." Old Shui, the energy inside these people is very strong. Do they truly not know any martial skills? Someone curiously asked. They don't know any. Shui Wuya nodded. "This. Who exactly are they? Why do they look so stupid?" An old man asked. "They are all puppets. They don't seem to have high intelligence, but they can remember our movements and words." Qinyan said. Shui Wuya looked at Qinyan in amazement and said, "You can actually tell that they are puppets." Qinyan already knows that these people have very ordinary inscription level. "I can tell with one look," Qinyan said. "Very awesome." Shui Wuya chuckled and said, "Then let's begin. You just need to tell these puppets what to do. They will remember and do as you say." Shui Wuya flipped an hourglass and began counting down. After Qinyan chose a puppet, he began to communicate with it. He guided the puppet to learn martial skills. First, it learned Qigong, then it learned fist techniques. These puppets look stupid, but their memory is very good. They learn very quickly. Qinyan is also secretly amazed at the puppet's crafting technique. It seems like they have very strong learning ability. Very soon, 1 hour passed by. Shui Wuya yelled, 50 puppets divide into 5 groups. Each group has 10 puppets. Then each group will have a battle royale. Each group will have only one winner. The 6th floor is very big. It is enough to hold a battle royale. The groups were split up by Shui Wuya. Before this, everyone placed their assessment cards on the puppet's body. In the end, they would be able to determine who had guided the puppet. The first group's chaotic battle began. It was a complete mess, and the battle ended very quickly. The owner of the puppet that won was an old man. Second, third, and fourth groups are also the same. All the puppets who won are old men. From this, it can be seen that older people are more powerful. Qin Yun's puppet is from the fifth group. After the battle began, Qin Yun's puppet began moving around the edge of the stage with very fast footwork, avoiding the attacks of other puppets. Other 9 puppets are engaged in battle royale. 1 or 2 of them tried to attack Qin Yun's puppet, but they were all sent flying and then bitterly beaten. "Go!" Qin Yun yelled. That puppet saw that it is about time. It flew over and punched the heads of other puppets, each punch exploding a puppet's head. Seeing this, Shui Wuya's heart is dripping blood. Everyone is also dumbstruck. They find it very hard to understand how Qin Yun's puppets can fight so well. It is as if they have been through hundreds of battles. Shui Wuya is also looking at Qin Yun in shock. He also doesn't understand what is going on. Not long after, the fifth group's battle royale also ended. Other 9 puppets have their heads exploded. Only Qin Yun's puppet is still standing. Fifth group, Qin Yun has obtained the qualification to teach. Shui Wuya yelled. He is cursing Qin Yun in his heart. Other people only taught puppets how to fight. They did not teach them martial skills. Qin Yun taught them simple martial skills. That is why they are so strong. The main reason is because he knows how to communicate with puppets. I was recommended by Dark Assembly. Qin Yun said. The other 4 are from Holy Assembly. You're the only teacher from Dark Assembly. Shui Wuya nodded and said, This is your teacher qualification token. After receiving the token, Qin Yun asked, Then what do I need to do? Go to Dark Assembly's study pagoda and let the people there arrange things for you. Dark Assembly has its own rules. Go there and someone will guide you. Shui Wuya said. The assessment is considered easy for Qin Yun. After obtaining the token, he happily ran out of the Institute pagoda. Not long after he left, he saw Yufeng's small boat and immediately ran over. Did you pass? Yufeng asked. Of course I passed. Is it very difficult? Quickly take me to Dark Assembly. I will be the most handsome male teacher in Dark Assembly. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. You truly passed? Yufeng finds this hard to believe. What? You think I won't be able to pass? You let me take the teacher assessment just to swindle me, right? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Don't think I can't see through it. I don't have that kind of idea. Oh, that's right. I remember that you have to pay 100 million star coins. Your star coins are with Xiao Fei. How did you pass? Yufeng said with a very natural expression. Chapter 1071. Go astray. Yufeng groaned and quickly entered the college study pagoda. She went to settle the bill for Qin Yun and quickly came out. After she boarded the boat, she saw Shui Wuya walking out. Second Headmaster Shui. Yufeng yelled, Xiao Feng, how many times have I told you not to call me Second Headmaster Shui? Just call me Headmaster Shui. Second Shui. Second Shui. It sounds so unpleasant. Shui Wuya said with chuckle. Who told you not to be the headmaster? I am leaving. Yufeng said. Seeing Qin Yun on Qin Yun's boat, Shui Wuya asked in amazement. Did you recommend this little brother to be a teacher? Do you have a good relationship with him? Hearing Shui Wuya's question, Yufeng hastily explained, I am not familiar with him. He is my friend's disciple's friend. He knelt down and begged me for a few days to recommend him to become a teacher. I felt that it was just a recommendation letter, so I helped him along the way. Oh, this little brother is quite good. He will have no problem becoming a teacher. I hope you can guide him well in the future, Shui Wuya said with a smile. Headmaster Shui, can I stay in this building? Qin Yun asked while pointing at the college study pagoda. Not for the time being. You will have to solve the problem of accommodation yourself. Our great ancient college's inner district is very big. There are many places where you can build a house. Go to the Dark Assembly School District and ask around. Shui Wuya said, So stingy. I paid 100 million star coins. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Brat, you destroyed 9 of my puppets. Shui Wuya felt very pained thinking about this matter. Qin Yun did not say anything. He feels that those puppets are not worth anything. I am leaving, I will bring him back to the Dark Assembly. Yu Feng finished speaking and controlled the boat to fly away. Qin Yun said, I really did not expect that old man to be the second headmaster. What kind of assembly is he? Dark Assembly or Holy Assembly? Neither. I don't know where he came from. In short, since ancient times, all the headmasters of the great ancient college did not belong to any of the three assemblies. They also frequently mediate the conflicts between the three assemblies. What is the deal with those puppets? Yu Feng asked. That is the matter of the assessment, don't you know? Qin Yun told Yu Feng about the puppet. Yu Feng's expression slightly changed after hearing this. You bastard! How can you not know when to hold back? Those puppets were very expensive. One of them cost 20 million star dollars. 9 puppets were killed. That's nearly 200 million. That kind of trash costs 200 million star coins? Qin Yun suddenly felt that star coins were too easy to earn. What else? Don't tell me you also know how to refine puppets? Yu Feng asked in disbelief. Puppets are something that an inscription master must master, right? Qin Yun curled his lips. What's so strange about me knowing how to refine puppets? Puppet refinement requires totem runes. You have mastered totem runes? Yu Feng is very amazed. Qin Yun did not expect that ancient domains' totems and runes would be so rare. The ancient region, which had been passed down for several epochs, was much more backward than he had imagined. Qin Yun, is the place you were at very developed with inscription? What kind of place is that? Yu Feng asked after thinking about this point. That place has been destroyed. Let's not talk about it. Naturally, my inscription Dao is also very strong in my hometown. I really did not expect that your ancient domain would be even more backward than my hometown. Qin Yun said with a smile. That's because good runes and materials are controlled by very few people. Although there are many inscription masters, the inheritance they obtained is not the most orthodox, and the runes they control are not enough. Yu Feng said with a sigh. Even though I am a holy maiden, I still have to lower my voice when facing nether sex inscription masters. Does your nether sex inscription masters really have very strong inscription techniques? If that's really the case, then the Blood Phoenix nether spear they refined for you is too perfunctory. That thing can't be used at all, Qin Yun said with a look of contempt. That broken thing can actually be considered a king tool? But most king tools are like this. I have not been swindled. Yu Feng said in a very bad mood. You just made me pay 100 million star coins. I will put on your head. After you refine the Blood Phoenix nether spear for me, I will pay you 9 billion. Can't you be a bit more generous? Are you giving it to me for free? You want to haggle with me over this small amount of star coins? Qin Yun waved his hand. It is not a small amount of star coins. It is 100 million star coins. It takes me half a year to earn that much. The one who should be generous is you. Can't you just give me a good king tool? Yu Feng looked at him with disdain. Why should I give it to you? Who are you to me? Qin Yun laughed. Forget it. Quickly let me become a teacher. I want to show outstanding performance so that Nether Sect will make an exception and accept me as a disciple. Dream on. When I become the sect master, you will not even be a disciple of Nether Sect. Yu Feng glared at Qin Yun and said with sneer. Not long after, Yu Feng brought Qin Yun to a large black building that is dozens of floors tall. Qin Yun followed Yu Feng to the first floor, passed through a large hall, and arrived at a study room filled with books. Inside the study room, there's an old man whose beard is almost touching the ground. This is our institute's president. He is also the administrator of the institute. Just call him President Su. Yu Feng pushed Qin Yun inside and said in low voice, If there is anything you don't understand, ask him. Yu Feng finished speaking and walked away with quick steps. Qin Yun took out his token and walked towards President Su, who is standing next to a bookshelf reading a book. President Su is a short and small old man. He is wearing neat and tidy gray clothes. His white beard is very long, almost touching the ground. His eyes are half open. He is unblinkingly reading the contents of an ancient book. Greetings, President Su. I am Qin Yun, a new teacher who just passed the exam. Qin Yun handed over his token. New teacher? President Su did not even look at Qin Yun and asked, Why do you want to become a teacher? Because I want to become a disciple of Nether sect. I want to become a teacher and teach good students to gain the approval of Nether sect. Chinyan thought for a bit and answered truthfully. He suddenly realized that he should be a student. The reason why he became a teacher is because Yufeng said a few words to him and he became hot-headed and decided to become a teacher. Now he discovered that it is very difficult to have a good performance as a teacher in a short period of time. That wretched woman Yufeng, she led me astray. Chinyan cursed in his heart. Good, your goal is far and lofty. President Su's voice is filled with mockery. Mid-stage martial emperor. Yet you want to become a teacher and then become a disciple of Nether sect. How can youngsters these days be so impetuous? Chinyan knew that this would happen. He suddenly feels that Shui Wuya is a very good person. He is much better than President Su. I passed Headmaster Shui's exam. I am now qualified to become a teacher. Chinyan said again. All right, I will let you lead a class. If your class achieves good results within half a year, I will recommend you to Nether sect. President Su is still reading his book. He is not even looking at Chinyan. This teacher Yufeng already promised to recommend me to Nether sect, but I feel that it will take too long. After all, I still have to pass the exam. I wonder if I can become a disciple of Nether sect as an exception? Chinyan curiously asked. Hearing Chinyan mention Yufeng, President Su abruptly looked over and said with sneer, So you were brought in by Yufeng? Don't you know that Yufeng is my #1 enemy? Chinyan is startled in his heart and loudly cursed Yufeng. She always brags about how awesome she is as a holy maiden. Yet she actually has enemies in Dark Assembly. Chinyan is speechless. Yufeng cut off my beard. My current beard is fake. President Su's expression immediately became filled with anger. He glared at Chinyan and asked, What exactly is your relationship with Yufeng? Hostile relationship. That woman tricked me into becoming a teacher and made me walk on a path of no return. Chinyan let out a long sigh and said, That woman deliberately tricked me just because I accidentally touched her. She made me spend 100 million star coins to take the exam. Luckily, my luck was good, and I smoothly passed. President Su said with sneer, Don't lie. If you had touched her, you would have already been killed. However, the fact that you were made a teacher by her was indeed her doing you a disservice. That is not wrong, but I can also see that your relationship with her is not bad. All right, I am her friend's disciple's friend. Chinyan helplessly said, This is for you. Open your own class, recruit your own students, and teach them. Half of the tuition fees will be yours, and the other half will be given to our Dark Assembly. President Su took out a golden rectangular nameplate and handed it over to Chinyan. Hang it on the door of your classroom. Where's my classroom? Chinyan took the nameplate. It reads 900. It should be the 900 class. There's a large open space behind this tall building. Pick a piece of land and build your own class. Where do I recruit students? Chinyan asked again. Go ahead. If you can't recruit 5 students within 10 days, you will be kicked out of the great ancient college, President Su said with sinister smile. Chinyan took the nameplate and walked out of the study room. He arrived at the Dark Assembly's main hall and saw his name on the teacher list on the wall. He is ranked last 900th. Yufeng is ranked 3rd. Not far from the Dark Assembly's list, there's also the Great Ancient College's top 10 teacher list. Although Yufeng is ranked last, it is still very awesome for her to be on that list. Doesn't that mean I am at the bottom of the entire Great Ancient College? Chinyan looked at his nameplate and wondered how he can increase his rank. Those who are ranked at the top must be the elite disciples of the 3 unions. Chinyan walked out of the Dark Assembly's building and went around to the back of the building. He saw many large and small courtyards here. He can't even see the end of them. It looks like a huge city with many disorderly courtyards. Those houses were all classrooms built by the teachers themselves. If I rank high enough, maybe I can become a disciple of the Nether sect. Chinyan is filled with fighting spirit after thinking about this. So long as I can go to the Nether Sun Star, I will not be far from obtaining the Nether Sun Spirit. After obtaining the Nether Sun Spirit, I will return to the transcending Xianxi region and then go to the immortal desolate. Yufeng has always been nearby. Seeing Qin Yun arrive at the back of the building, she hastily walked over and pulled him to the side. She asked, "How is it? That President Su, whose beard you cut, is very important to me. He wants me to teach a class. I am worried about where to recruit students," Qin Yun said. Chapter 1072. Enrollment begins. Qin Yun very unhappily complained to Yufeng. "It is all your fault. You led me step by step into a pit. You knew that the great ancient college's waters are deep, so why didn't you warn me? You did it on purpose." Yufeng is a bit happy. Even though she is still as ice cold as before, her eyes are filled with happiness as she said, "We are even. Since it's already like this, I have nothing to complain about. I can only roll up my sleeves and do it." Qin Yun was immediately filled with fighting spirit. His eyes were filled with determination as he looked into the distance. Yufeng was tricked by Qin Yun into destroying the great ancient square, causing her to be deeply worried all day long. She had been brooding over this matter. Now that she had swindled Qin Yun, it could be said that she had gotten back at him. "Qin Yun, it's best if you don't mention my name in the future. It's not that I don't want you to mention it. It's because you understand." Yufeng coughed dryly and said, "All right, you should think about how to recruit 5 students." Qin Yun was almost eaten by President Su when he mentioned Yufeng. He really did not expect that the iceberg like Yufeng would be such a mischievous person, cutting other people's beard for no reason. "Why did you cut off President Su's beard?" Qin Yun could not help but be curious. "Even if you killed your father, it's nothing more than this, right? I just didn't like it, so I cut it." Yufeng said, "Tomorrow, a large number of new students will arrive. You should think of a way to recruit them. I still have things to do. Goodbye." Yufeng ran away and disappeared without a trace. She is also too embarrassed to ask Qin Yun to refine a weapon for her, because Qin Yun is facing a very big problem. "Isn't it just recruiting 5 students? What's so difficult about it?" Qin Yun disapproved and smiled proudly. "You actually said that I'm finished? You're looking down on me, Grandmaster Qin?" Qin Yun walked towards the building complex in front of him, looking for a suitable place to build his classroom. After he went in and walked around, he found that there was no ideal location. The good places had all been chosen by others. The rest were either very small or in poor locations, blocked by some tall buildings nearby. "Let's talk about it after we recruit students." Qin Yun stood beside a lake. This lake should have been the best, but there was no place left. They couldn't build anything on top of the lake either, because it would affect the beauty of the entire lake. Qin Yun could only give up when he failed to find a good place. His plan was to recruit 5 students and then discuss it with those 5 students. This way, he wouldn't be blamed in the future. Qin Yun went to apply for a star coin card and came to a garden. He found a pavilion to sit down and began to rest. The next day, he went to the Dark Institute's building. In a wide plaza at the entrance of the building, many teachers had set up tables with all sorts of information on them. They were all introducing the teachers, and many of the teachers were waiting to start recruiting students. If a teacher were to recruit a student and charge 100 million star coins as a tuition fee, he would be able to earn 50 million star coins. If he could recruit 10 of them, that would be 500 million. To a teacher who didn't have any skills, this was a huge profit. As soon as Qin Yun arrived, he also saw Yufeng. Her table is the biggest. It cannot even be considered a table. It is more like a martial stage. Moreover, there are all kinds of flags around the martial stage. It is very imposing. There were quite a few large reception platforms here as well. They were all outstanding teachers who recruited students based on their own abilities. Yufeng is very famous, and she is also a female teacher. Although she is a bit fierce, she is very pleasing to the eyes. This is also the first thing many male students think about. Just as Qin Yun was about to go over, Yufeng hastily sent him sound transmission. "Don't come over. Quickly set up a stall to recruit students. It would be best if you make it flashy and dazzling to attract people's attention." "Oh, that's right. Don't use my banner by any means, otherwise you will attract a lot of trouble." Qin Yun did not go over. He is also thinking about how to attract people. He casually found a place and took out a table. His specialty is spirit inscription refining, but he can't expose it or it will cause a lot of disturbance. He will have to wait until he is familiar with ancient domain and master a certain amount of power. At this time, he heard many teachers discussing something. Teacher Yufeng's tuition fee has increased to 300 million, and she is only giving Dark Institute 50 million. This is too profitable. This time, the teachers in the top 10 will definitely earn the most. There's nothing we can do about it. They are all great teachers. They're the ones who choose their students. And for us, it is already very good that students come to us. If Teacher Yufeng can recruit 20 students this time, she will earn several billion. So profitable. A group of people whispered in envy while looking at Yufeng's dazzling martial stage. Qin Yun also secretly despised Yufeng. She is so rich, yet she is so stingy. He cursed in his heart. She likes black so much, she even painted her eyes black. It seems like she also knows that she is a black crow. More and more people are arriving in the plaza. Many students are arriving. At this time, someone said, I heard that our Dark Institute has a new teacher. Moreover, he is a mid-stage martial emperor. Is this true? I only heard that the nameplate of Class 900 has been issued. A mid-stage martial emperor teacher is actually teaching a class? Haha, you don't know. It is President Su who is doing this on purpose. He wants this lucky guy to quickly get the hell out of here. If he can't recruit 5 students in 10 days, he will be kicked out. Headmaster Shui is really something. There are hundreds of teachers, and most of them are half immortals. Why did he let a martial emperor pass? That guy is really lucky. Oh, that's right. Where's that lucky guy? Let's go take a look. Qin Yun hastily yelled. I know where he is. Those few middle-aged men hastily walked over and said with smile, Where is he? Let's go take a look at his pathetic appearance. Qin Yun grinned and said, I am that lucky bastard. Although my cultivation is not high, I am more handsome than all of you. You can't deny this point, right? You. One middle-aged man became angry, but seeing Qin Yun's handsome face, he became speechless. What's the use of being handsome? With your cultivation, no one wants you as a student, yet you want to be a teacher? Indeed, you should have some self-awareness. Quickly get the hell out of here. Qin Yun crossed his legs, sat there, and said with smile, Let's talk about it in 10 days. Even trash like you can't get the hell out of here. Why should I? Io. What an arrogant guy. Just because you passed the assessment and became a teacher, you can be so arrogant? A middle-aged man rolled up his sleeves in anger. It seems like he wants to fight. Hit me if you have the guts. Qin Yun said with smile. If you hit me, the one who will get the hell out of here is you. You better be careful. That middle-aged man doesn't dare to hit Qin Yun. He can only shrink back and leave. Other teachers also left one after another. They want to recruit new students. Although there are many teachers in Dark Assembly, only 200 to 300 students have come to recruit new students. It is said that there are 900 classes, but many of them are empty. Either the teacher ran away, the teacher died, or the students ran away. That President Su had given Qin Yun a Class 900 nameplate on purpose. Generally speaking, when people hear the name Class 900, they will immediately run away. Many students have entered the plaza. Many of them were brought by their family elders. The place where Qin Yun is sitting is very far from the plaza's entrance. Behind him is a forest. No one is walking here. His position is also the most remote. Suddenly, someone walked out of the forest. One person said with wretched smile, I wonder how many junior sisters will come this time. Young Master Liu, why are our teachers not recruiting new students? Not enough quota. Our class has not made any contribution, so the Dark Assembly won't let us expand. Liu Hanxian shook his head and sighed. It is all because those guys are too useless. They're just idling around all day, occupying the latrine pit, but not taking a shit. If they scram, our class will have many junior sisters. Hearing Liu Hanxian's voice, Qin Yun turned his head and asked, How many students can your class recruit? Liu Hanxian screamed in fright. He knew that there is a teacher who is recruiting students, but he did not expect it to be Qin Yun. You. You. Lu Hanxian pointed at Qin Yun. His hand is trembling. It is as if he has seen a ghost. Young Master Lu. Young Master Lu. What is wrong? Those few youths beside Lu Hanxian are very amazed to see him like this. Lu Hanxian knows that Qin Yun is very powerful. This is his nightmare. He also knows that Yu Feng has promised to make Qin Yun a student of Great Ancient College. But now Qin Yun does not look like a student. He looks more like a teacher. Seeing Qin Yun's face, Lu Hanxian subconsciously touched his chest. He still feels a kind of indescribable pain. Not long ago, Qin Yun's finger poked a big hole in his chest. Are you a teacher? Young Master Lu took a few deep breaths, calmed down, and asked. Indeed. My name is Qin Yun. I am a new teacher. Qin Yun said with a smile. Qin Yun? Ha ha. Is that mid-stage martial emperor teacher? I heard you were going to teach a class. You're just a lucky bastard. You're going to be kicked out soon. It seems like your mood is very good. A red-clothed youth said with loud laughter. Ha! Lu Hanxian slapped the red-clothed youth's buttocks and yelled, Idiot, quickly shut up. Young Master Lu, why did you hit me? The red-clothed youth covered his buttocks and said in a very wronged manner. I told you to shut up, did you hear me? Idiot, do you want to die? Lu Hanxian cursed in low voice. The other youths also reacted. They know that Lu Hanxian is very afraid of Qin Yun. They realize that Qin Yun has a very high position in Great Ancient College. Qin Yun said with a smile, Young Master Lu, how many students can your class recruit? Lu Hanxian immediately said respectfully, Teacher Qin, my class can only recruit 100 students at most. Qin Yun can only recruit 5 students. Compared to others, it is indeed very few. The few youths beside Lu Hanxian are all stunned. They are very clear about Lu Hanxian's status. But now he is being so humble and respectful toward a mid-stage martial emperor. This is completely different from the Lu Hanxian they know. All of you scram. Also, don't talk nonsense, or I will cut off your tongues. Lu Hanxian sternly said to those youths. Chapter 1073. Who's the most handsome? Since Lu Hanxian signed a soul contract, he won't dare to have any disloyal thoughts towards Qin Yun and Gu Qiufei. Therefore, Qin Yun is very relaxed now. Young Master Lu, it seems like you have a very high status. What is the background of your father and grandfather? Qin Yun very curiously asked with a smile. My father is one of the 5 vice presidents of Dark Institute. My grandfather is one of the 10 strongest experts of Dark Institute. Lu Hanxian is very proud of his background. Oh, then do you still hate me? Qin Yun asked with a smile. I don't dare. It was all my fault before. I was ignorant and stupid. I have let down Teacher Qin. I have let down little Sister Gu. No, big Sister Gu. After Lu Hanxian returned, he carefully thought about it and realized that Qin Yun's dreadful inscription technique is very rare. He also wants to report this matter to his father and grandfather so that they can rope in Qin Yun. But he signed a soul contract with Yu Feng. He can't reveal what happened that day, including the fact that Qin Yun is an inscription master. Lu Hanxian believes that Yu Feng deliberately made them keep this matter a secret because she is worried that Qin Yun will be roped in by other people. Qin Yun has also realized this point. Young Master Lu, to tell you the truth, Teacher Yu Feng and I have some enmity. She tricked me into becoming a teacher. If I can't recruit 5 students within 10 days, I will get the hell out of here. Qin Yun said in low voice. Think of a way to recruit 5 students for me. Teacher Qin, so you were recruited by Teacher Yu Feng to become a teacher. Lu Hanxian finds it very strange that Qin Yun did not want to be a student, but instead ran over to become a teacher. He is very clear that with Qin Yun's strength, he will be the most dazzling student. Teacher Yu Feng said that being a teacher can earn star coins, but being a student requires a lot of star coins. I was deceived by the benefits, so I believed her nonsense. Qin Yun said with a sigh. Teacher Qin, you are a mid-stage martial emperor, yet you managed to pass teacher's assessment. That is very awesome. Lu Hanxian cupped his fists in admiration and said again, President Su also wants you to get the hell out of here. I can help you, but I can only do it secretly. I cannot let President Su know about it. You must not let President Su know about this. Why does President Sue want me to scram? Qin Yun was puzzled. Am I really that bad? What a joke. Teacher Qin, how could you be weak? It's all because of them looking down on me. Lu Haqin said with somewhat embarrassed smile. He was also like this before. Young Master Lu, I'll be counting on you, Qin Yun said with a smile. When I have time, I'll help you refine a weapon. I'll sell it to you at a suitable price. Mr. Qin, you must remember this. I will start to save up star coins. When the time comes, I will give Teacher Qin a good price. Lu Hanchun very happily said, I will think of a way to help you recruit a few students. I will do my best to recruit 5 students. Actually, it will be very difficult because many people don't trust you. Qin Yun nodded. Do your best. Lu Hanchun also hastily left. Qin Yun doesn't know what method he is going to use. Ling Yun said, Little Yun, most of the students here are from aristocratic families. They rely on their family's resources to grow up very quickly. But many of them don't want to endure hardships to stabilize their foundation. Even though their cultivation is high, many of them are weak. Qin Yun also agreed. Lu Hanchun is one such trash. A peak martial emperor was poked half to death by Qin Yun's finger. There are also many among them who don't have enough understanding of martial arts, causing their cultivation to be high, but their strength to be low. If you can guide these youngsters, they will surely become very strong. Ling Yun said again. Qin Yun has a martial Dao heart. He can comprehend heavenly might Dao technique by himself. Just this point alone shows that he has very high comprehension of martial arts. It must be known that both Xie Karu and Yao Fong are unable to comprehend heavenly might Dao technique. While Qin Yun is waiting for Lu Hachun, a short-haired young girl suddenly arrived. This young girl's skin is very white. She is wearing a red skirt. She is very short and has a very cute and tender little face that makes one want to pinch it. The young girl's watery eyes are wide open as she looked at Qin Yun. Little girl, I am a teacher. Do you want to join my class? Qin Yun asked. The young girl shook her head and said in low voice, I want to join teacher Lu Chaoshuai's class. Lu Chaoshuai? What a shameless name. Qin Yun suddenly feels that this name is very familiar. He thought about it and realized that this is the 9th-ranked teacher of Dark Institute. He is also the 2nd-ranked teacher of Dark Institute. He accepted you as a student? Qin Yun asked in amazement. He doesn't want me. The young girl shook her head. Her eyes suddenly turned red and flickered with tears. Little girl, don't be sad. You can join my class. Qin Yun said with a smile. Oh, that's right. Am I more handsome, or is teacher Lu Chaoshuai more handsome? The young girl earnestly looked at Qin Yun's handsome face, thought for a bit, and said, Yeah, you're a bit more handsome than teacher Lu Chaoshuai, but your cultivation is low. Teacher Lu Chaoshuai is a 3rd tribulation half-immortal. He is also the 2nd-ranked teacher of Dark Institute. He has 700 students in his class. What about you? Fuck. Qin Yun cursed in his heart, then said with a smile, I am a new teacher. If I have enough time, I will surely be more awesome than that Lu Chaoshuai. The young girl wrinkled her nose and lightly groaned. Bullshit, Qin Yun said. Then, little girl, why did you come here? The young girl said in low voice, Because I saw that you are very handsome, so I came to take a look. I did not expect that you are the legendary Dog's Hit teacher. Qin Yun is stunned for a long time. He almost jumped up. Dog's Hit teacher? Who gave me this name? He really wants to destroy the entire plaza to prove that he is not Dog's Hit. They said that you became a teacher because of Dog's Hit luck. That's why they called you Dog's Hit luck teacher, but felt that it was not smooth, so they directly called you Dog's Hit teacher. It is more smooth. The young girl finished speaking. Her tears turned into laughter. A brilliant smile appeared on her face. Fuck their grandpa. Qin Yun feels that his dignity has been damaged by 10,000 points. This kind of flowery name is very unpleasant to hear. After Qin Yun calmed down, he realized that if he wants to get rid of this flowery name, he must prove it with strength. He said in low voice, Little girl, how much star coins did your family give you to come here? 100 million star coins. They told me to find a random teacher to pass the time. Then they told me to find a powerful and influential young master to become a concubine or something. Speaking up to here, the young girl very sadly pouted. But I want to become teacher Lu Chaoshuai's student. He is very handsome. But he wants 350 million star coins. I can't afford it. Moreover, my aptitude is not good. I only have 6 spirit vein. My cultivation is also not high. I am only late-stage martial emperor. The lower the cultivation, the more tuition fee I need. Lu Chaoshuai's class monitor said that I need 500 million star coins to become his student. The young girl's face is filled with sadness. She looked at Qin Yun with tearful eyes. Qin Yun said, I am more handsome than Lu Chaoshuai, and I only need 100 million star coins. I also have a gift for you. How about you become my student? Come to my class and give me 100 million star coins. I will return 50 million star coins to you. In any case, you are here to pass the time. It doesn't matter who you follow. I will only take 50 million star coins from you. Really? You will only take 100 million star coins. Give 50 million star coins to Dark Institute and give the rest to me. Won't you be earning star coins? The young girl's tearful eyes flickered with light hearing this. She said again, You will return 50 million star coins to me. Can you keep it a secret? Absolutely. Qin Yun said with grin. You can enter my class. Greetings, Teacher Qin. The young girl became very happy thinking about the 50 million star coins she will receive. She bowed to Qin Yun and sweetly yelled, I am Shui Weiwei. Qin Yun also made a star coin card yesterday. He received 50 million star coins from Shui Weiwei and told her to drip her blood on his teacher's medallion. Then he quickly made a jade medallion and gave it to Shui Weiwei. This way, Shui Weiwei will be his student. Teacher, what about the gift? Shui Weiwei sweetly smiled and said, Here, your gift. Qin Yun took out a king-quality Regent Origin Stone and handed it over. Is a king-quality Regent Origin Stone. Many thanks, teacher. You are so handsome. You are much better than teacher Lu Chaoshuai. Although he is handsome, he is very arrogant and not amiable at all. Teacher Qin is the best. Shui Weiwei very happily thanked Qin Yun. Little girl, your mouth is very sweet. How about this? You go and recruit students for me. I will give you a high-quality Regent Origin Stone for every student you recruit. When you recruit students, you can tell them that I have a small gift for them. Qin Yun said with smile. Shui Weiwei is very happy hearing this. After all, she is just a 13-year-old girl. Now, not only she has become a student of great ancient college, she has also obtained 50 million star coins and a king-quality Regent Origin Stone. She feels that with this wealth, she will become stronger in the future, and she will no longer need to be a concubine of a young master. All right, I will go immediately. Shui Weiwei hastily left. Now that Qin Yun has recruited a student, he feels a lot more relieved. Shui Weiwei entered the plaza and began recruiting people everywhere. This caused many people to realize that this dog-shit teacher Qin Yun has managed to swindle a student. Moreover, it is a naive little girl. Many people secretly shook their heads. They feel that Shui Weiwei has been swindled. Shui Weiwei now feels that it is very difficult because Qin Yun is not well received and is being called a dog-shit teacher. But Shui Weiwei feels that Qin Yun is very good. Not only did he return her 5,000 star coins, he is also very good to her and even gave her a gift. Qin Yun is sitting at his booth and waiting. At noon, he suddenly saw Shui Weiwei returning along with a few people. They are all youngsters. They have very fierce expression. It is clear that they are here to cause trouble. Shui Weiwei's expression is filled with worry. She hastily ran over and hid behind Qin Yun. Surname Qin, you say that you are more handsome than our teacher Lu? Are you courting death? A black-clothed man walked over, pointed at Qin Yun, and furiously cursed. Quickly announced that teacher Lu is the most handsome. Chapter 1074. Domineering Weiwei Qin Yun finds it very funny that Lu Chaoshuai students are here to cause trouble. Weiwei, tell me, between me and Lu Chaoshuai, who do you think is better looking? Qin Yun is not the least bit afraid of Lu Chaoshuai's students. He asked Shui Weiwei with calm smile on his face. Of course, Teacher Qin is better looking. Teacher Lu Chaoshuai's face is very ugly all day long. It is becoming uglier and uglier. Shui Weiwei summoned her courage and said, "Could it be that I cannot speak the truth? Lu Chaoshuai is too tyrannical. I was truly blind before. I actually worshipped him." Shui Weiwei is very angry because she thinks that Qin Yun is better looking, but now Lu Chaoshuai's students are questioning her and even threatened her. "Wretched girl, do you believe that I won't kill you?" That black-clothed student pointed at Shui Weiwei and roared like a fiend. Although Shui Weiwei looks like a weak girl, she is not someone who is easy to deal with. She immediately replied, "So what if I am courting death? If you have the guts, come and kill me." Then she suddenly screamed, "Murder! Murder! Lu Chaoshuai's students want to kill a weak girl like me and even humiliate me. Everyone quickly come and reason with me. Lu Chaoshuai's students are barbaric and inhumane. They are worse than beasts." Qin Yun was also given a fright. He never expected that the little girl, who was on the brink of tears, would actually be so skilled. Many people immediately rushed over and began criticizing those students. Those few men's expression is very unsightly. They did not expect that this little girl would dare to shout like this. Shui Weiwei unceasingly shouted and screamed. She has great resentment towards Lu Chaoshuai in her heart. She used to worship Lu Chaoshuai very much, but she discovered that Lu Chaoshuai is completely heartless and indifferent toward a small character like her. It is mainly because she is poor. But Qin Yun is different. Not only is he very handsome, he is also very good to her and even gave her a large amount of star coins. Therefore, she immediately regarded Qin Yun as her idol. Now that Lu Chaoshuai's students have come to cause trouble, Shui Weiwei is ready to throw caution to the wind and counterattack. Ling Yun said with charming smile, "Xiao Yun, this little girl is a promising talent. You must properly nurture her." Qin Yun cannot help but laugh. Shui Weiwei's voice is very loud and sharp. This might be her talent. In short, everyone in the plaza knows that Lu Chaoshuai's student wants to take advantage of a young girl and even wants to kill her. This was a very bad influence. Yu Feng also saw it from the distance. She quickly learned about it through her students. She never thought that Qin Yun would actually be able to recruit a student, and one who seemed to be very impressive. Lu Chaoshuai hurriedly led a group of students over. Lu Chaoshuai was indeed a handsome man, but his face was very cold, as if he had facial paralysis, so emotionless. He was dressed in armor and looked very divine. There was also a long sword at his waist. After arriving, the students all had a trace of fear on their faces. "What's going on?" Lu Chaoshuai coldly shouted at those students. "Teacher, this little girl said that Qin Yun looks better than you. When we heard that, we felt angry, so we came over." The black-clothed student's face was covered in sweat. Lu Chaoshuai naturally knows that Qin Yun is a dog-shit teacher. He looked at Qin Yun's handsome and resolute face with a smile on it, and cannot help but feel startled in his heart. He now admits that Qin Yun has a very handsome face. It seems like Qin Yun is a cut above him. The smile on Qin Yun's face adds a lot of points. This is also the reason why Shui Weiwei thinks that Qin Yun looks better than Lu Chaoshuai. Shui Weiwei delicately yelled, "They said they want to kill me." A blue-clothed man hastily yelled, "I did not say that. It was Senior Wang." Then he pointed at the black-clothed man. "Teacher Lu Chaoshuai, how can your students be so trash? You are a great teacher." "Bah!" Shui Weiwei furiously yelled. Everyone secretly admired Shui Weiwei's courage. She actually dared to talk to Lu Chaoshuai like this. Lu Chaoshuai's expression became very gloomy. He looked at Senior Wang and said in cold voice, "Quickly apologize to this young lady." Those students hastily bowed and apologized to Shui Weiwei. They're extremely hateful in their hearts. Shui Weiwei placed her hands on her waist and very haughtily groaned. "A bunch of useless things. Only know how to bully weak women. Scram." Lu Chaoshuai looked at Qin Yun and said with cold smile, "Teacher Qin, congratulations on accepting such an outstanding student. But, with your standard, You will only ruin her future. Qin Yun said with smile. Teacher Lu, what do you think I should do to not ruin her future? Lu Chaoshui can now see that Shui Weiwei is a very good seedling. She is very outstanding in terms of courage. He said, of course I will transfer her to my class. I will properly teach her. Only I can unearth her potential. Ha ha ha. Qin Yun suddenly burst in a loud laughter. You. What are you laughing at? Lu Chaoshui said in deep voice. Qin Yun looked at Shui Weiwei and said, Weiwei, did you hear? Teacher Lu Chaoshui wants to invite you to his class. He is one of the top 10 teachers of Great Ancient College. Do you want to go or not? Fuck his grandpa. Shui Weiwei placed her hands on her waist and yelled, I wanted to go to his class, but he dislikes me for being poor and lacking in talent, so he didn't accept me. What a snob. The corner of Lu Chaoshui's eyes twitched. Incomparable anger rushed up in his heart. He really wants to slap this little girl and turn her into a pancake. Everyone began whispering to each other in low voice. Lu Chaoshui rejected Shui Weiwei just now, and now he wants to invite her back. This is very funny. Lu Chaoshui has also lost a lot of face. Everyone feels that he is not sincere. You did not put me in your eyes just now. Teacher Qin is the best. Shui Weiwei lightly groaned and said, Your teacher Qin is just a mid-stage martial emperor. His cultivation is lower than yours. Yet you also think he is the best? Oof, truly ridiculous. Lu Chaoshui said with sneer, Little girl, you will regret it in less than half a year. I am giving you a chance to enter my class for free, but you are not willing? Truly stupid, a student said. Little girl, you can enter our class for free. You enter our class for free. Every year, your tuition is free. Do you know what that means? This is equivalent to picking up hundreds of millions of star coins every year. You idiot. Indeed, quickly join teacher Lu Chaoshui's class. Silly girl, don't be angry and ruin your future, a middle-aged woman yelled. Joining Lu Chaoshui's class for free, what an honor, a young man said with envy written all over his face. Silly girl, this teacher Qin's strength is truly not worthy of praise. Becoming his student is simply a waste of your life. That dog shit teacher Qin, if he can't even get 5 students, his class will be finished. At that time, it'll be too late for you to regret. Lu Chaoshui's face is brimming with arrogance because everyone thinks that becoming his student is the best. Many female students were also chattering and shouting at the side. Many people are trying to persuade Shui Weiwei to join Lu Chaoshui's class. Don't look at how young Shui Weiwei is. She is very sensible. She knows that Lu Chaoshui is doing this to embarrass Qin Yun and also to make Shui Weiwei yield and redeem her face. Shui Weiwei was given the cold shoulder by Lu Chaoshui before. She is filled with loathing towards Lu Chaoshui, especially Lu Chaoshui's students. Each and every one of them are scoundrels. Therefore, no matter what, she will not join Lu Chaoshui's class. Moreover, she sympathizes with Qin Yun. She feels that Qin Yun is a very good person, and if he doesn't have 5 students, he will be very miserable. Therefore, she wants to stay and help him. All of you shut up. I'm not a spineless dog. If you think that Lu Chaoshui is so good, why don't you kneel down and call him father? Shui Weiwei furiously yelled. Lu Chaoshui's scoundrel students are enough to show that he is also a scoundrel. If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked. If I join their class, I will be bullied to death. Shui Weiwei's sharp voice resounded throughout the entire plaza. Lu Chaoshui is so angry that his heart is dripping blood. He tightly clenched his fists. He really wants to spit out a mouthful of anger to kill Shui Weiwei. After Yufeng heard this, she walked over and said, Then how about joining my class? It's free. Qin Yun very much wants to throw the table at Yufeng. She clearly knows that it is very difficult for him to recruit students, yet she still wants to steal his business. No, I will follow teacher Qin, Shui Weiwei very decisively said without any hesitation. You have no future with him. Yufeng is not looking at Qin Yun. She is looking at Shui Weiwei and said, Qin Yun can no longer sit. He stood up and said, "How about this? We will compete. Shui Weiwei is my new student, and you have also just accepted a new student. We will each have 1 hour to give pointers and see whose student is the most formidable. The loser will have to pay 200 million star coins. How about it?" Qin Yun looked at Yufeng and Lu Chaoshui and said, "Who will go first?" Yufeng is still thinking because she knows that Qin Yun is very strong. While she is thinking, Lu Chaoshui said with sneer, "I will go first. What kind of competition? How will we compete?" Qin Yun looked at Shui Weiwei and said, "Arm wrestling." "What? You want this little girl to arm wrestle with us?" A very tall student loudly laughed and said, "I am a peak martial emperor, and this little girl is just a late-stage martial emperor. Even two of her are not my match. Since you are so confident, how about you call Weiwei great, and if you lose?" Qin Yun said with smile. Shui Weiwei somewhat anxiously pulled Qin Yun's clothes because she feels that she is not a match for this large man. Arm wrestling is a test of one's strength and also the strength of one's body. "Let's do it," the large man bravely said. "Teacher Lu, let me Gao Kai go up. I will surely win." Lu Chaoshui nodded and said, "Gao Kai, you go up. It is just arm wrestling. There is no need for you to give pointers. With your strength, you will surely be able to defeat that little girl." Qin Yun used Extinction Spirit Eye to look at Gao Kai's martial spirit. It is Purple Gold Flame martial spirit. As for Shui Weiwei's martial spirit, it is a Red Water martial spirit. It belongs to the category of variant martial spirits. "Teacher, do I really believe it?" Shui Weiwei asked in low voice. Chapter 1075. Personally taking the stage, Shui Weiwei sensed Qin Yun's divine ability power and is very amazed in her heart. Although her cultivation is higher than Qin Yun's by a bit, the water divine ability power Qin Yun is transferring in her body is very formidable. Qin Yun's divine ability power is very gentle. Moreover, under his control, it is very docile inside Shui Weiwei's body. On top of that, Shui Weiwei also has a water martial spirit and cultivates water attribute power, so she can stabilize this formidable water divine ability power. Qin Yun sent sound transmission to Shui Weiwei. "Weiwei, control this power and suppress the opponent." Shui Weiwei is very happy in her heart. She wants to immediately give it a try. Qin Yun did not immediately start. Instead, he told Shui Weiwei to control the water divine ability power and circulate it inside her body. Shui Weiwei did as Qin Yun said and began controlling the water divine ability power to circulate inside her body. This way, she will become more familiar with the water divine ability power and will be able to use it even more smoothly. After Qin Yun let go of Shui Weiwei's wrist, he pretended to whisper in Shui Weiwei's ear, making people think that he is giving her some pointers. Yufeng also wants to accept a domineering little girl like Shui Weiwei, but she can see that Shui Weiwei is determined to follow Qin Yun. "Hey, can you guys do it?" Gao Kai very impatiently yelled. "Didn't you say 2 hours? Not even half an hour has passed. Why are you so anxious?" Shui Weiwei lightly groaned and said, she is now very confident because Qin Yun's water divine ability power is very strong. Qin Yun is now telling her how to use the water divine ability power to suppress Gao Kai. Gao Kai only has a fire martial spirit and can only use flame power. If Shui Weiwei can use the water divine ability power properly, she can easily suppress Gao Kai's flame power. Many people are watching from the sidelines. Many of them are elders who brought their juniors here to choose their teachers. They are very much looking forward to the result. That little girl is only late-stage martial emperor. Moreover, her martial spirit doesn't look very strong and her aura is also very weak. No matter how she is taught, her power cannot compare to peak martial emperors. Looking at their appearance, they must be pretending. No matter how formidable that mid-stage martial emperor's teacher is, he will absolutely not allow that little girl to win. Mr. Qin is just a lucky bastard who passed the test and became a teacher. How powerful can he be? We just have to wait and see. If that last loses, she will have to pay 200 million star coins to the other party. Lu Chaoshui watched from the side. He was also a little impatient, but he could only endure it. He really couldn't understand what was so good about a simple arm wrestle. Qin Yun was an expert at this. He could make people cry for their parents at any moment. After half an hour, Qin Yun saw that Shui Weiwei has more or less mastered the water divine ability and said, "Let's begin." Yufeng took out a very solid square stone, placed it on the ground, and said, "Let's do it here. I'll be the judge." "Gao Kai, you're already 30 years old, right? That little girl is only 13 years old. Don't lose." A young man laughed. "How is that possible?" Gao Kai laughed. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive. This 30-year-old Gao is already a peak martial emperor. He's indeed a very young genius. But having high cultivation does not mean that one is very strong. Some people are still very weak. Shui Weiwei walked over to the side of the stone and extended her delicate lily-white hand. Her palm is also overflowing with water vapor. "You have a water martial spirit. I have a fire martial spirit, but you are too weak. You won't be able to restrain me," Gao Kai said with a smile. Gao Kai also extended his hand, wanting to pinch Shui Weiwei's lily-white hand, but discovered that his hand has been blocked by water vapor. Now Shui Weiwei's hand looks like a glove condensed from water vapor. She lightly groaned and said, "Don't even think about touching my hand. You will only dirty me. Wretched girl, don't be so cocky. I will make you cry and call me grandfather." Gao Kai immediately became furious and said in cold voice, "Begin." Yu Feng shouted. Everyone's gazes immediately focused on Shui Weiwei and Gao Kai's hands. They all calmed down and calmly watched. As soon as the match began, Gao Kai let out a loud roar. He wanted to use all his strength to disperse the water vapor and make Shui Weiwei scream. However, after he used his strength, he did not succeed. Furthermore, he sensed that there was a very strange water power seeping into his body through his palm. Gao Kai's expression greatly changed. He immediately used his body's power to press down Shui Weiwei's hand. Sensing that Gao Kai's martial Emperor Xian power has been extinguished, Shui Weiwei secretly rejoiced in her heart. She poured even stronger water divine ability power into Gao Kai's body. Gao Kai's body was originally steaming hot. His fire martial spirit was burning and releasing intense power. But now it has been extinguished by Shui Weiwei's water divine ability power. Gao Kai suddenly became flustered and loudly shouted. Lu Chaoshui's face is filled with shock seeing this scene. Yu Feng also knows that this is the result of Qin Yun's guidance. It must be known that Shui Weiwei did not have much confidence before, but now Shui Weiwei is able to compete with Gao Kai. This result is beyond everyone's expectation. Those who thought that Shui Weiwei would lose are now feeling very embarrassed. Gao Kai is gritting his teeth, his eyes are wide open, his face is completely red, and he is constantly shouting in low voice. He used all his power, but his hand was still pressed down by Shui Weiwei's delicate hand. Bang! The back of Gao Kai's hand vigorously hit the stone floor and let out a burst of muffled sound. "I won! I won!" After winning, Shui Weiwei very happily laughed. "Ha ha ha! Lu Chaoshui's student is truly trash, a 30-year-old peak martial emperor. He can't even win against a 13-year-old little girl like me." Everyone burst into commotion and cried out in alarm. They don't dare to believe this is true. That little girl Shui Weiwei has truly won. Lu Chaoshui's expression is very gloomy. He looked at Gao Kai and asked in deep voice, "How did you lose?" That little girl can release a very strong water power, causing my fire power to be completely suppressed." Gao Kai gnashed his teeth as he looked at Shui Weiwei and Qin Yun. So it was a restraining method. I was too careless. That little girl's water power is also very strong. Lu Chaoshui looked at Qin Yun and said in low voice, "Don't be too proud. This is not the result of your guidance. You are just taking advantage of the situation. Everyone knows that water restrains fire." Everyone immediately nodded. They all agreed with Lu Chaoshuai's words. Qin Yun said with smile, "But I won. Hand over 200 million star coins." "Oomph. I will give it to you." Lu Chaoshuai very unhappily walked over and handed over 200 million star coins. Shui Weiwei said, "Now it is proven that Teacher Qin is truly awesome." Gao Kai has suffered a great blow. Although everyone knows that he lost because water restrains fire, they're still looking at him with disdain. "Quickly call Weiwei great aunt," Qin Yun said with smile. "You." Gao Kai really wants a curse. "You are a dignified man, yet you want to act shamelessly." Shui Weiwei's face is filled with ridicule. Everyone finds this situation very funny. Gao Kai's loss is very unsightly. Gao Kai wants to kill himself because no matter what, he has lost a lot of face today. He is also very regretful that he dared to compete with Shui Weiwei. "Great aunt!" Gao Kai firmly clenched his fists and loudly shouted. Then he turned around and ran away. He doesn't have the face to stay here. Everyone burst into laughter. Shui Weiwei's smile is very sweet. She now idolizes Qin Yun even more. Lu Chaoshuai looked at Yufeng and said, "Teacher Yufeng, does your new student not want to compete with Teacher Qin's student?" Yufeng knows that Qin Yun is very strange. She doesn't want to suffer such a loss. "I don't want to compete. Teacher Qin is indeed very brilliant. Moreover, he is more handsome than you. Don't deny it." Yufeng said with sneer, "Your students are really something. Not only are they weak in cultivation, they are also blind. Teacher Qin is clearly more handsome than you. He can hang you up by several streets, but they don't admit it. They even want Teacher Qin to publicly admit that you are the most handsome. Truly fucking disgusting." "Yufeng, how dare you?" Lu Chaoshuai furiously shouted. Qin Yun is also cursing Yufeng in his heart for bringing hatred to him. Lu Chaoshuai doesn't dare to act out against Yufeng because she is nether sex holy maiden. "Teacher Qin, you casually gave Shui Weiwei some pointers, and she won against Gao Kai. As a teacher, you are even more awesome. Do you dare to personally go up and compete with my new student?" Lu Chaoshuai yelled. He is filled with belly full of anger. If he doesn't win today, you will lose a lot of face. After all, there are many people watching. Qin Yun shook his head. "I won't compete. You don't even want to bet 200 million? Lu Chaoshuai said with sneer. "You are truly as timid as a mouse. Even a little girl like Shui Weiwei dares to go up and compete. You don't. As a teacher, even if I win against a student, it will not be glorious." Qin Yun said with sigh. "Although I'm only a mid-stage martial emperor, I am a teacher. It means that I have the ability to teach students. If you want me to personally compete, aren't you forcing me to bully my students? Don't pretend. I know you are scared." Lu Chaoshuai said with sneer. "If you don't dare, then you don't dare. Don't try to make it sound so nice." Shui Weiwei's eyes shifted as she said, "Lu Chaoshuai, how about this? If your student loses to Teacher Qin, it will show that Teacher Qin is a qualified teacher. Then you transfer the student's tuition fee to Teacher Qin. How about it?" Lu Chaoshuai said with smile. "Fine. But if Teacher Qin loses, you will join my class? What do you think?" "All right, it's settled." Shui Weiwei readily agreed. She then said to Qin Yun in low voice, "Teacher, you must win. Otherwise I will leave you." Qin Yun patted her head and said with smile, "Little girl, I will surely win." Yufeng feels that Qin Yun will lose this time because Lu Chaoshuai is prepared this time. His student will surely be even more formidable. Lu Chaoshuai said to a short-haired man behind him, "Bai Kuang, you go up this time. If you can't win, you will have to follow him." Chapter 1076. 3 Students. Everyone saw Bai Kuang walk over and cannot help but be amazed. By family disciples. So young yet full of white hair. Moreover, there are white marks on his face. Clearly he is a Bai family disciple. The Bai clan's disciples are all very mysterious and powerful. I heard that their martial spirits are very special. After awakening their martial spirits, they have totem runes. Moreover, they also have a mortal body. Everyone exclaimed in admiration again and again when they saw Bai Kuang walk out. Yufeng slightly frowned and said in low groan, Lu Chaoshui, how did you recruit by family disciples? Lu Chaoshui proudly smiled. This is how awesome I am. Yufeng, the disciples you recruited this time are definitely not as good as mine. Ha ha. Qin Yun extended his hand and placed it on the stone. Bai Kuang also extended his hand. His eyes suddenly turned white and no longer have any black pupils. It is very scary. Qin Yun touched Bai Kuang's hand and sensed a very violent power. This teacher Qin will not be so lucky this time. The Bai family's disciples are all very violent and powerful. It is very difficult for a mid-stage martial emperor to win against a peak martial emperor. Lu Chaoshui glanced at Yufeng and signaled her start. Yufeng yelled, begin. Bai Kuang immediately shouted. A violent power rushed out of his body, giving rise to a gale that rushed all around. Qin Yun also sensed a very violent power rushing into his arm. This power is a lot weaker than Su Xiaoba. Qin Yun is someone who could defeat Su Xiaoba. Qin Yun promptly released Nether Sun's power to break down the violent power. Soon after, Yuner released supergravity and rushed towards Qin Yun's arm. Qin Yun's arm shook and released a supergravity that rushed towards Bai Kuang's palm. Boom! Qin Yun's hand vigorously pressed down, and in a flash, Bai Kuang's hand smashed into the stone, causing it to explode and crack. I won, Qin Yun said with a smile. It looks like he is very relaxed. Bai Kuang is completely stunned. He looked at his trembling hand in disbelief. He actually lost to a mid-stage martial emperor. Lu Chaoshui is even more shocked. His mouth is wide open. Bai Kuang is the best student he has recruited in the last few years, but now he is losing to someone else. Everyone present is also shocked to the point of being tongue-tied because Qin Yun's victory was just too sudden. Originally, Bai Kuang's power was very powerful and berserk. He released a terrifying berserk energy wave. However, Qin Yun flipped his hand and pressed down Bai Kuang's hand, reversing the situation in the blink of an eye. Bai Kuang, what happened just now? Lu Chaoshui anxiously asked after recovering from his shock. I don't know, his power suddenly became very strong. My power seems to have disappeared. Bai Kuang came back to his senses, and his face was filled with confusion. I won. Qin Yun said, we agreed just now. Bai Kuang wants to be my student. Lu Chaoshui gritted his teeth and said, fine, just you wait. He could only swallow his hatred and transfer Bai Kuang to Qin Yun. He also transferred 350 million star coins to Qin Yun. That was Bai Kuang's tuition fee. Shui Weiwei said with charming smile, who doesn't accept teacher Qin now? You are the dog*T teachers. Lu Chaoshui has suffered 2 defeats in a row. He no longer has the face to stay here. He only thinks that he ran into bad luck today and ran into an evil event. Bai Kuang is very unconvinced. He stood beside Qin Yun and said in cold voice, I can change classes after a month. You don't have the ability to keep me here. Although you defeated me just now, it was because I was careless. Qin Yun shook his head and said with a smile, let's talk about it after a month. Many people left one after another. Although Qin Yun made Lu Chaoshui suffer 2 defeats, everyone still doesn't approve of him. After all, he is only a mid-stage martial emperor. His strength is very limited. A mid-stage martial emperor is definitely not as good as a half-immortal teacher. Yufeng is very jealous. She looked at Shui Weiwei and then returned to her stall. Qin Yun has not been able to recruit students for several days. This is also because Lu Chaoshui used some underhanded methods to spread rumors about Qin Yun, making it even more difficult for Qin Yun to recruit students. Many people know that since Qin Yun offended Lu Chaoshui and became his student, he will become the target of many students in Lu Chaoshui's class. Lu Chaoshui is a great teacher. He has many students in his class, and they're all very wealthy. If they become enemies with Lu Chaoshui's students, their days will be very difficult. Thinking about this, Qin Yun is very worried in his heart. Bai Kuang has not come to class for the past few days. Only Shui Weiwei has been trying to recruit students, but it has no effect. There are fewer and fewer people in the student recruitment plaza. Many teachers have already closed their stalls. Only Qin Yun is still there. He still has 5 days left. If he can't recruit 5 students, he'll have to get out of here. While Qin Yun is worrying, he suddenly saw a young man walking over. Shui Weiwei saw this person and yelled, "Teacher, we have a student. You are the only teacher here. Someone must have come to join us." Qin Yun's expression also became very spirited. He has a smile on his face. After that person arrived, Shui Weiwei's expression abruptly changed. "It is over. That is my little uncle, Shui Taohu. He must have come to cause trouble for me." "Why would he want to cause trouble for you?" Qin Yun asked. Shui Weiwei won the arm wrestling match with Gao Kai. Qin Yun obtained 200 million star coins and also gave 100 million to Shui Weiwei. But this matter is kept secret. Nobody knows about it. Our Shui family must know that I am looking for you to become a teacher. That little uncle must have come because of this, Shui Weiwei said while hiding behind Qin Yun. Shui Weiwei can't transfer classes unless a teacher allows it. But after 1 month, students can choose again. Even if Qin Yun doesn't want to transfer classes, he can't do anything about it. Shui Taohu has a large and mighty face. His face is filled with fury. He pointed at Qin Yun and yelled, "You dog shit teacher, quickly tell Xiao Wei to transfer classes. Otherwise I will beat you up until you become dog shit. Little uncle, it is my freedom to choose which teacher I want. You can't control me." Shui Weiwei pouted and said, "Also, don't be so disrespectful to Teacher Qin. He is a very good teacher." Shui Taohu furiously said, "Wretched girl, you offended Teacher Lu and now you are hanging out with this dog shit. If your family blames you, just wait for your face to be slapped." Shui Weiwei very angrily said, "Worst comes to worst, I will give you 100 million star coins." "I don't want your star coins, is that fine?" Shui Taohu coldly said, "You can discuss this matter with your father. I came here to make this dog shit teacher agree to let you transfer classes." Qin Yun is rarely angry. He expressionlessly said, "Student, if you continue to be so rude, don't blame me for being impolite." Shui Taohu laughed loudly and said, "What? Do you want to attack me? If you want to fight here, you will have to scram. If you have the guts, come and hit me." At this time, 2 people arrive from the distance. One of them is wearing white clothes. It is Lu Hanshun. He has brought a person with him. Seeing that Lu Hanshun has brought a person, Qin Yun is very happy in his heart because he is about to have a new student. "You're just a mid-stage martial emperor. You got some dog shit luck to become a teacher here. You are just a pile of dog shit. Quickly scram back home." Shui Taohu's voice is filled with threat. "You better be careful. Watch how I deal with a pile of dog shit like you." "Deal with Teacher Qin? Who do you think you are?" Lu Hanshan said in cold voice after arriving. "I Shui Taohu." Shui Taohu abruptly turned around and looked at Lu Hanshan. His expression greatly changed. Lu Hanshan walked over and slapped Shui Taohu's face. "An idiot like you wants to deal with Teacher Qin? Believe it or not, I will deal with you." Shui Taohu rolled on the ground after being slapped by Lu Hanshan. He covered his burning cheek with his hand. He is looking at Lu Hanshan with a dumbstruck expression. He is extremely shocked in his heart. Young Master Lu." Shui Taohu recognized Lu Hanshan. He is also his classmate. "Stand up." Lu Hanshan's expression is very gloomy as he yelled. Shui Taohu abruptly stood up in fright. He is extremely shocked in his heart. He did not expect that Qin Yun would have such good relationship with Lu Hanshan. If he knew, he would not have come here to cause trouble for Qin Yun. He is cursing those people who instigated him to come here. "Quickly apologize to Teacher Qin, otherwise I will beat you up until you can only crawl back," Lu Hanshan yelled. Shui Weiwei is also in a daze. She did not expect that her normally arrogant little uncle would be so cowardly. Shui Taohu suddenly realized that Qin Yun must have some kind of background. Teacher Qin, I am sorry. I am just a pile of dog shit. I hope Teacher Qin can forgive me." Shui Taohu bowed deeply towards Qin Yun without saying anything else. Then how are you going to report the matter of Wei Wei becoming my student to your Shui family? Qin Yun asked. Shui Taohu looked at Lu Hanshun with difficulty. Lu Hanshun said, "Go back and tell your Shui family that it was I, young Master Lu, who taught her. If your Shui family is dissatisfied, come and find me." Shui Taohu repeatedly nodded and said, I know. You know? Why are you still not scramming? Lu Hanshun furiously said, I will leave at once. Shui Taohu is scared to death and hastily left. After Shui Taohu left, Lu Hanshun arrived in front of Qin Yun and said with smile, Teacher Qin, I have made you wait for a long time. I have finally found a student. His name is Yin Tianjia. He is normally very quiet. The person Lu Hanshun brought is a tall and big-bald youth. He has a pair of thick horizontal eyebrows, deep eye sockets. He looks like a fool. Yin Tianjia is very tall. He is more than 2 meters tall compared to Qin Yun. But since he looks like a fool, he doesn't look very scary. Many thanks, young Master Lu. Qin Yun nodded and said with smile, Then I will begin the registration. Tuition fee is 50 million star coins. Lu Hanshun said in amazement, Only 50 million? Teacher Qin, are you not profiting? Qin Yun said with smile, I am not profiting. Consider it as me returning the money to my student. Very quickly, Yin Tianjia registered Yin Tianjia under his name. Yin Tianjia is very happy after obtaining 50 million star coins. He said with simple and honest smile, Many thanks, teacher. You are welcome. Qin Yun said with smile. Then he took out a king-quality Regent Origin Stone and handed it over. This is a small gift for you. Lu Hanshun is very amazed to see Qin Yun hand over a king-quality Regent Origin Stone. He asked, Teacher Qin, how many students do you have? 3. I'm still short of 2. Qin Yun said. Chapter 1077. Chapter 1077. Shuedai Lu Hanshun, have you thought it through? Do you really want to be my student? Qin Yun asked in amazement. I'm just idling around anyways. It doesn't matter where I go. Besides, Teacher Qin, you really need students now, and I have a chance to transfer classes. Lu Hanshun said with smile. Oh, that's right. Your tuition fee is only 100 million star coins, right? Furthermore, he wanted to return 50 million star coins and give him a small gift. I should be able to enjoy it too. Qin Yun saw the smile on Lu Hanshun's face. He knows that Lu Hanshun is here for the tuition fee and the small gift. Lu Hanshun is a young master with great background. It will be very good to have him join their class. Lu Hanshun, how much tuition fee do you need to pay? Qin Yun asked with smile. 200 million star coins. Honestly speaking, I still have the tuition fee in my hands. I was just about to pay it. Lu Hanshun said with mischievous smile. Teacher, you understand. All right, I will accept you. Qin Yun knows what Lu Hanshun is thinking. This way, he will be able to obtain 150 million star coins. Isn't that perfect? You are really crafty. If your family finds out about this, won't they scold you? Shui Weiwei said. Of course not. I'm just idling around anyways. Lu Hanshun said with smile. Little sister, we will be classmates from now on. I am Teacher Qin's first student. I am the class monitor. You can call me Big Sister from now on. Shui Weiwei said with smile. Lu Hanshun transferred 50 million star coins to Qin Yun. Then he used his student Jade token to cancel his teacher-student relationship with Qin Yun and establish a teacher-student relationship with Qin Yun. Qin Yun asked, Lu Hanshun, will you have the opportunity to transfer classes in the future? Lu Hanshun shook his head and said no. If I want to transfer classes, I will have to drop out of school and rejoin a new class. In short, it will be very troublesome. I will have to wait for 5 years before I can rejoin. Teacher Qin, I have decided to follow you. Can you keep the opportunity to transfer classes for a long time? Qin Yun suddenly thought of an idea. But only once. Lu Hanshun nodded. Now Qin Yun has 4 students, Shui Weiwei, Bai Kuang, Yin Tianjia, and Lu Hanshun. If he accepts 1 more student, then he will have 5 students. I still lack 1 student. Where should I go to find one? Qin Yun looked at Lu Hanshan and asked, "Can you bring someone from your class?" Lu Hanshan said with some embarrassment, "Teacher, you still owe me a small gift." Qin Yun took out a king-quality Regent Origin Stone, handed it over, and said with smile, "This is your small gift." "Many thanks, teacher," Lu Hanshan said with smile. Shui Weiwei said, "Xiao Lu, teacher wants to ask you if you can pull a student from your class." Lu Hanshan thought for a bit, then shook his head and said, "Those guys have already used the class transfer opportunity. There are some who haven't, but they don't dare to use it. If I could, I would have brought them here long ago." "One more student." Qin Yun paced back and forth anxiously. If it really didn't work, he could only spend star coins to buy students. Other people would have to pay star coins to the teachers, but he didn't have much fame now, so he could only pay for it. "Lu Hachun, how much do you know about teacher Yufeng's students? I want to poach one from her place." Qin Yun suddenly said. "What?" Lu Hanshan jumped in fright and said anxiously, "Teacher, don't take things too hard. If you poach teacher Yufeng's students, she will chop you to pieces." Qin Yun said with mischievous smile, "I am not afraid. She just wanted to poach Wei Wei." Shui Weiwei said in low voice, "Teacher, I indeed wanted to go, but after thinking about it, teacher is still the best." Lu Hanshan looked at Yin Tianjia and said, "Ajia, don't go around talking about what happened today." Yin Tianjia nodded. He is indeed a person who doesn't like to talk, so Lu Hanshan is very relieved. Lu Hanshan said in low voice, "Teacher Yufeng has a student who wants a transfer class. I met her last time in secluded Phoenix Pavilion." "Oh, is teacher Yufeng not good enough? Why would a student want to transfer class?" Qin Yun asked in amazement. "That student is from teacher Yufeng's family. She is a woman. She is in teacher Yufeng's class. Teacher Yufeng watches her all day long. She also lives with teacher Yufeng in the college. If that student's performance is not good enough, teacher Yufeng will report to her family. So that student is under great pressure." Lu Hanshan said with smile. Qin Yun's eyes lit up as he said with smile, "This student is indeed very easy to poach." He. Lu Hanshan said again. She wanted to transfer to another class. She even went to find Lu Chaoshui. Shui Weiwei hastily asked, "Did Lu Chaoshui reject her?" Lu Hanshan shook his head and said, "That student is very special. Lu Chaoshui doesn't dare to accept her. She went to find a few famous teachers, but was rejected by all of them." "Ah, could it be that she is very scary and eats people?" Shui Weiwei said in fear. "That student's name is Shui Dai. She liked to drink blood." That was what the rumors said, but whether it was true or not, I also don't know. Lu Hanshan said. In short, some teachers are afraid that Shui Dai will have a problem, and some are afraid that teacher Yufeng will take revenge on them. I am not afraid of Yufeng. Quickly help me contact that Shui Dai. I will take her in. Let's talk about it after we have enough people. Lu Hanshan nodded and said, "I will contact her as soon as possible." "Oh, that's right, teacher. I, Lu Hanshan, am just an idler. Don't expect me to contribute anything." "Don't look at me like this. I'm actually very useless. Also, don't tell teacher Yufeng that I helped you contact Shui Dai. Otherwise, she will chop me to pieces." Qin Yun said with smile. "Do I look like that kind of person to you?" "Xiao Lu, how long do you plan on idling around?" Shui Weiwei asked in low voice. "You are a young master. Why don't you work a bit harder?" A3. It is because my talent is too poor. Luckily, my father has some problem. It is not easy for him to have children, so I am his only son. I am the only child of my family. Ha ha ha. Lu Hanshan is very happy. If his father knew what he is thinking, he would definitely beat his, but until it becomes swollen. After Lu Hanshan finished bragging to Qin Yun, he hastily left to contact Shui Dai. Qin Yun is now using Extinction Spirit to look at Yin Tianjia. He discovered that there is no martial spirit inside his martial Emperor Dao core. There's only a very small pillar inside. "Ajia, why is your martial spirit a pillar?" Qin Yun asked. "Teacher, you can see through my martial spirit?" Yin Tianjia said in amazement. "Take it out and let me see." Qin Yun said. Yin Tianjie hurriedly took out his pillar. It was a black pillar that was almost 3 meters long and half a meter thick. This is my martial spirit. It is also my origin weapon. Yin Tianjie grabbed the pillar with both hands and vigorously smashed it on the ground. Boom! The entire plaza suddenly began trembling. Ajia! Enough, enough! Enough! Qin Yun yelled in amazement. Yin Tianjie said, "My pillar is very strong. I use it like a stick. It can flatten many people." Shui Weiwei's face became deathly pale in fear. She timidly asked, "Ajia, have you ever used it to kill people?" Yin Tianjie rubbed his bald head and said with a smile, "No, those people were very strong. Half of their bodies were turned into meat paste by me, but they did not die." Shui Weiwei doesn't dare to ask again. She is very scared just thinking about it. "Big sister, rest assured, I only beat bad guys, not good guys," Yin Tianjie said with foolish smile. "Ajie, you can rest assured. I will protect you in class. No one will bully you." Shui Weiwei summoned her courage and said, "Many thanks, big sister." Yin Tianjie very happily thanked Shui Weiwei. Qin Yun now understands why Yin Tianjie joined his class. It is because Yin Tianjie is very slow. He was tricked by Lu Hanshun into joining. Not long after, Qin Yun saw a woman dressed in a blood-red outfit flying over. This woman is very tall. Her eyes are blood red. Her hair is tied in a ponytail. Under the sunlight, her hair is flickering with red light. She has a grim and beautiful face. Her body is filled with dense, killing intent. As she approached, Yin Tianjie felt great pressure. "Is this Shui Dai?" Qin Yin promptly got up. He is very shocked in his heart because this Shui Dai is a first tribulation half-immortal. "Qin Yun, you dare to accept me as your student?" Shui Dai's red eyes flickered with red light as she asked in cold voice. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Qin Yun said with smile. 300 million star coins. Take it. Don't hesitate. Accept me immediately." Shui Dai took out her star coin card and said, "I will only take 50 million. You can keep the rest." Qin Yun said in a daze, "I don't want it. I will give it all to you. This is to save your life. If you accept me, you will most likely die." Shui Dai said with a resolute expression, "Don't talk nonsense. Quickly proceed." This Shui Dai is very decisive. Qin Yun took out his teacher's token and began registering Shui Dai as his student. At this time, Shui Dai removed her teacher relationship with Yu Feng and established a teacher-student relationship with Qin Yun. Qin Yun received Shui Dai's star coins. He now has more than 500 million star coins in his hand. "Shui Dai, I more or less understand your situation." Qin Yun is very surprised because Shui Dai is very strong. Becoming his student will be a great help to him. "It's good that you understand. I will also tell you in advance, I am not becoming your student because I want to avoid Yu Feng. So don't think that I will help you with anything," Shui Dai said. Qin Yun suddenly felt very depressed. Although Shui Weiwei is his brain-dead fan, she is too young and too weak. He won Bai Kuang over. He is unwilling to accept Qin Yun, and he will leave in a month. Lu Hanshun is also a trash who wants to eat and wait for death. He wants to live a carefree life until the day he dies. Shui Dai does as she pleases. She is like an unbridled wild horse. Moreover, she is very violent. Only Yin Tianjie, who is a simple and honest big guy, is not bad. "All right, I have 5 students for the time being. Qin Yun can only do this for now. This is better than having no students at all. Moreover, he has also earned a lot of star coins. Even if he has to leave, it will not be in vain." Chapter 1078. Shocking Background. Chapter 1078. Shocking Background. Qin Yun took out his teacher's token. Through it, he can send sound transmission to his students. Shui Weiwei, Yin Tianjie, and Shui Dai are all here. Only Bai Kuang and Lu Hanshun are missing. Qin Yun wants to bring these students to meet President Su. Only this way he can stay in Great Ancient College. After Qin Yun sent sound transmission, Bai Kuang and Lu Hanshun agreed to come over immediately. The first to arrive is Bai Kuang. His expression is very unhappy. His black pupils have turned white. Apparently he is silently looking at Qin Yun with disdain. Teacher Qin, it seems like your students are not very good. Bai Kuang looked at Shui Weiwei and coldly groaned. This little girl might be good. After all, Teacher Lu has taken a fancy to her. This big baldy and that red-haired woman are clearly very weak. The red-haired woman is Shui Dai. Hearing these words, her aura abruptly burst out. In the blink of an eye, Shui Dai turned into a red light and arrived behind Bai Kuang. She said in cold voice, "Who are you calling weak?" Bai Kuang's whole body shivered in fear. He slowly turned around and looked at Shui Dai. Shui Dai's red hair is fluttering madly. Her red eyes are releasing devilish bloodlight. Her beautiful face is filled with ice-cold ferocity. She opened her mouth, revealing 2 rows of teeth. Each row has 2 sharp fangs, just like a vampire. You. Bai Kuang is so scared that he retreated backwards. He is a peak martial emperor. He knows very well what Shui Dai's dreadful aura signifies. A first tribulation, half immortal, has become Qin Yun's student. Bai Kuang looked at the ferocious and violent Shui Dai. He is so scared that he is speechless. Boom! Yin Tianjia also took out his black pillar and fiercely attacked the ground, causing the entire plaza to shake. Don't look down on people. Yin Tianjia's voice is like muffled thunder, causing Bai Kuang's heart to tremble. Bai Kuang now discovered that none of Qin Yun's students are vegetarians. He gulped down a mouthful of saliva in fear. All right. Bai Kuang is just speaking casually. Both of you restrain yourselves a bit. Qin Yun hastily said. Shui Dai and Yin Tianjia gave Qin Yun face and quickly calmed down. Bai Kuang doesn't dare to speak anymore. He doesn't understand how a bullshit teacher like Qin Yun managed to recruit such a powerful student like Shui Dai. He had never heard about Shui Dai. Otherwise, he would be even more terrified. Not long after, Lu Hanshun hastily ran over. Seeing Lu Hanshun, Bai Kuang cannot help but let out a sigh of relief because he discovered that there is another rookie here. Teacher, I'm sorry. I'm late. Lu Hanshun said with a smile. He actually looks quite handsome, but the aura on his body is somewhat weak, not very strong. Late? Bai Kuang coldly snorted. Trash like you is actually in the same class as me. Mr. Qin, why would you accept this kind of trash? Lu Hanshun looked at Bai Kuang and said in cold voice, Are you Bai Kuang? A piglet lost by that idiot Lu Chaoshui? What did you say? Hearing this, Bai Kuang's fury soared and a white aura erupted from his body, causing his black pupils to disappear. Idiot! I said you were a piglet. Didn't you hear me? Lu Hanshun is also very angry because someone actually called him trash. He immediately punched Bai Kuang. Lu Hanshun's punch is very fast and landed on Bai Kuang's eyes. Bai Kuang did not even have time to react and was sent flying by Lu Hanshun's punch. His eyes became red and swollen. Enough. Qin Yun could have stopped Lu Hanshun, but he thought that if Lu Hanshun doesn't teach Bai Kuang a lesson, he will definitely cause trouble in the future. Teacher Qin, didn't this bastard say that he would leave after 1 month? Let me properly beat him up. Lu Hanshun yelled. You dare hit me? This is the Great Ancient College. You are done for. Bai Kuang loudly shouted. Now he knows that Lu Hanshun's strength is higher than his. Although Lu Hanshun is just idling around, he still has many powerful elders in his family. It is not a problem for him to deal with a new student like Bai Kuang. So what if it is Great Ancient College? My father is one of the vice presidents. My grandfather is one of the top 10 experts of Great Ancient College's Dark Society. My grandmother is the Dark Left Law Protector. My grandmother is the Dark Right Law Protector. My grandfather is Shui Wuya. Lu Hanshun very skillfully reported all the elders of his family. Qin Yun is also secretly shocked. He only knew that Lu Hanshun's father and grandfather are very awesome, but he did not expect that Lu Hanshun's grandfather would be that old man Shui Wuya. Bai Kuang is so shocked that he is speechless. Before he entered Great Ancient College, many people told him to be careful of people surnamed Lu, especially Lu Hanshun. Some people even told him to curry favor with Lu Hanshun. But now, Lu Hanshun is right in front of him. What Bai Kuang finds most inconceivable is that Lu Hanshun is a senior student, and now he has become Qin Yun's student. This caused him to doubt whether or not he is dreaming. Among all of Qin Yun's students, he is the worst. Bai Kuang cannot help but start doubting his life. All right, I will take you to see President Su. If this guy doesn't see my students, he won't believe that I have recruited students. Qin Yun said with a smile. Let's go. Bai Kuang also stood up and followed behind Qin Yun with a dumbstruck expression. He doesn't even dare to let out a fart. He has been thinking about how Qin Yun managed to recruit these students. Qin Yun entered the Dark Institute's building, passed through the lobby, and arrived at a very large library. President Su is sitting on a chair under a bookshelf and reading a book. President Su, I have recruited 5 students. After Qin Yun came in, he said, I came here to give you star coins. 5 students, a total of 250 million star coins. Really? Don't tell me that you paid for those star coins yourself? President Su doesn't know what is happening outside. Nobody told him about it. So he doesn't know that Qin Yun has recruited students like Shui Weiwei and Bai Kuang. I have established a teacher-student relationship with my students. If you don't believe me, you could take a look at my teacher's token. Qin Yun took out his token and handed it over to President Su. President Su took it and looked at it, then said with frown, Indeed, 5 students. After looking at it, he threw it back to Qin Yun and said again, Give me 250 million star coins. Qin Yun took out his star coin card and transferred 250 million star coins to President Su. Teacher Qin, your luck is pretty good. You managed to recruit 5 students, but this is just your luck, nothing more. If even one of your students fails the yearly assessment, you will have to pay 100 million star coins to our institute. If 2 of them fail, you will have to pay 200 million. President Su said with sneer. Your students must also be some dogshit students, right? President Su, my students are all very outstanding. They are not dogshit students. Qin Yun's expression immediately became filled with anger as he said in cold voice. Oh, you can still get angry? You're just a mid-stage martial emperor. What kind of good students can you recruit? They must be the same as you, a dog-shit teacher. Ha ha ha. President Su mocked. Qin Yun firmly clenched his fists and said in cold voice, Do you want me to call my students over and let you appraise them? President Su shook his head and said with sneer, All right. Call my students over and let me see what kind of people they are. Later when they come to borrow books from me, I will have to be on guard against them so that they don't act recklessly. Qin Yun sent sound transmission to Lu Hanshin's group of 5 to come in through the teacher's token. President Su, you are truly a loathsome old man. It is fine if you scolded me, but you scolded my students. You are in the wrong. Qin Yun said in cold voice. Scolded you? You overestimated your capabilities and became a teacher by luck. That's why you are called dog shit teacher. And your students are also dog shit students. So what if I scolded them? Who told them to be stupid enough to become your students? President Su raised his voice and loudly mocked. At this time, Shui Dai's group also arrived and heard President Su's words. Rotten old man, you were scolding me dog shit? Shui Dai became furious after hearing this and shouted in cold voice, I will skin you alive. Old bastard Su, you dare scold me? Lu Hanshin also furiously shouted. President Su is stunned as he looked at Shui Dai's group. They're all my students, Qin Yun indifferently said. President Su looked at Lu Hanshin and Shui Dai. He is very familiar with them. Then he looked at Bai Kuang. He can also recognize that he is a Bai family disciple. President Su is suspecting that he is seeing things, so he rubbed his eyes and looked carefully. He is not seeing things at all. Lu Hanshan, how did you become his student? President Su finds this hard to believe. He looked at Shui Dai and yelled in shock. And you're a Yufeng student, Shui Dai. You are rotten old man. Did you just call me dog shit? Shui Dai took out a long and large red halberd. It is clearly a king tool. President Su immediately shouted. Someone come. Lu Hanshin and Shui Dai are people he cannot afford to offend. At this time, a few half-immortals rushed in, allowing President Su to relax a lot. President Su, they are all my students. Qin Yun took out a registration form and handed it over to President Su. Look carefully. President Su cursed Qin Yun in his heart. Why didn't he tell him earlier? Just now, he deliberately lured him to scold these students. Clearly, he wanted to lead him into a pit. Qin Yun faintly smiled and said, although their strength is not as good as yours, you were in the wrong first. Do as you see fit. President Su cannot afford to offend Lu Hanqin and Xue Dai. If they cause trouble here, he will not be able to do anything to them. I will apologize to them. President Su is terrified. He really did not expect Qin Yun students to be so awesome. Apologize? How insincere. Just take their tuition fee and return it to them. Qin Yun said with a smile. This can be done. Chapter 1079. Holy Lake. Chapter 1079. Holy Lake President Su cursed Qin Yun in his heart and then returned the tuition fee. Lu Hanqin and Xue Dai's expression also became a lot better. Even Bai Kuang had a faint smile on his face. He didn't expect that 50 million star coins would return to him. This is a great benefit. It could be considered as extra income. President Su, I want to ask you something. If I build a classroom, can I build it above the lake? Qin Yun asked. Above the lake? As long as it is not in the lake, it will be fine. If you have the ability, build it above the lake. President Su thought for a bit and nodded. Then we are leaving, Qin Yun said with a smile, and then left the institute building with his students. Seeing that Qin Yun and the others have left, President Su cursed and said, what the hell? How did this guy manage to recruit so many students? Especially Lu Hanqin and Xue Dai. Xue Dai can understand. After all, she has been looking for a teacher to accept her. But what kind of wrong medicine did Lu Hanqin eat? How can he be together with such a teacher? Qin Yun, now that you have accepted Xue Dai, even if phone doesn't cause trouble for you, Xue Dai's family will. I will just wait and watch the show. After arriving outside, Xue Weiwei asked, Teacher, do we still not have a classroom? Qin Yun said with a smile, not yet. I want to find students to build a classroom. I asked President Su earlier, and he said that we can build a classroom above the lake. What do you think? Lu Hanqin said, the location beside the lake is very good. There are mountains on one side and water on the other. But there is no space left. Teacher, building a classroom above a lake is very good, but how do we build it? That is easy, Qin Yun said with a smile. Suddenly, Qin Yun sensed Yufeng's aura. Xue Dai also sensed it and said in low voice, Teacher Qin, you are in trouble. Qin Yun believes that it was President Su who informed Yufeng about this. Sure enough, President Su is standing at the entrance of the institute building, quietly watching. Yufeng saw Qin Yun and Xue Dai together. She also saw Lu Hanqin. Lu Hanqin is somewhat guilty looking at Yufeng because he was the one who introduced Xue Dai to Qin Yun. Qin Yun, you bastard, you actually dared to steal this old lady student. Yufeng furiously said while gnashing her teeth. Xue Dai, join me willingly. If you did not mistreat her, why would she join me? This is all your fault. You should properly reflect on yourself. Qin Yun very calmly said. This caused Xue Dai to feel somewhat surprised. Xue Dai does not know that Qin Yun and you have a good relationship. Fine. Yufeng stamped her foot and said, Xue Dai, are you trying to create trouble for him by becoming his student? Xue Dai said in cold voice, I gave him many benefits. Moreover, it's a fair deal between us. He lacks students, and I want freedom. I have no freedom when I'm with you, Qin Yun said with a smile, restricting her freedom all day long. No one would be willing. Qin Yun, what do you know? Xue Dai's family members are high-ranking members of Nether Sect. I don't sexer Xue is Yun. I will Xue will. Xue Dai is very likely to become a holy maiden. If she follows me, she will know how to become a holy maiden. Yufeng coldly groaned. I don't want to become a holy maiden. I just want to be free. Xue Dai said in a very serious tone. Qin Yun is secretly startled. This Xue Dai's background is even more formidable than Lu Hanqin's. Lu Hanqin wanted to become a disciple of Nether Sect, but because he is too weak, Nether Sect did not accept him. She has become a disciple of Nether sect, yet she is still a student here. Clearly, she is trying to escape from Nether sect. Now that she has become a disciple of Nether sect, she is still a student here. Clearly, she wants to escape from Nether sect. Yufeng glared at Lu Hanxuan and furiously said, "You are the one who introduced Shui Dai to Qin Yun. You bastard." Qin Yun hastily sent sound transmission to Yufeng. "Rest assured, I will quickly refine the Blood Phoenix Nether Spear for you. You better cooperate with me. Don't make things difficult for me. I can deal with Shui Dai on my own. Oh, that's right. If you come to cause trouble for my student again, I will tell everyone about you destroying the great ancient plaza. Wretched bastard." Yufeng cursed in low voice and then sent sound transmission to Qin Yun. "When will you be able to refine the Blood Phoenix Nether Spear for me? Won't it take at least a few years?" "A few years? You're looking down on me too much. I will be able to help you in less than a month." Qin Yun replied. "A month? Is it made out of mud? How can it be so fast?" Yufeng doesn't dare to believe. "Other people would need several years to refine it for me. If your Blood Phoenix Nether Spear is better than the previous one, it will take even longer. You can go back and wait." Qin Yun impatiently transmitted his voice. Yufeng groaned, then turned around and flew away. Shui Dai can now tell that Qin Yun and Yufeng know each other. She is very curious in her heart. She looked at Lu Hanxuan and asked, "Teacher Qin and Yufeng know each other?" Qin Yun replied, "We know each other. We can barely be considered friends." Bai Kuang and Shui Weiwei are both secretly startled. Even though they are new students, they all know about Yufeng. Lu Chaoshui is ranked higher than Yufeng, but Yufeng is Nether Sect's holy maiden. She is much more powerful than Lu Chaoshui. And Qin Yun is actually acquainted with Yufeng. Not only Bai Kuang, even Shui Dai is very curious about Qin Yun's identity. Only Lu Hanxuan knows that Qin Yun is an extremely awesome inscription master. That is why Yufeng treats Qin Yun very well. "Teacher, are we going to build a classroom next?" Shui Weiwei asked. "What will our classroom look like?" "We will build a large courtyard," Lu Hanxuan said. "This is not a difficult matter. The difficult part is how to build it above the lake." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Our classroom must be very domineering. It must be very big. It must be the most awesome classroom in the entire great ancient college." Lu Hanxuan said, "We only have 5 people. Why do we need such a big classroom?" Yin Tianjie said with foolish smile, "I like big. Big is good." Shui Dai said, "It doesn't matter as long as I have a place to live. Wait for me at the lakeside." "Oh, that's right. Can we leave the great ancient college now?" Qin Yun asked. "Since Yufeng destroyed the great ancient plaza, they have been investigating, but they have not been able to find anything." "All right. Feel free to leave," Lu Hanxuan said with a smile. "Then we will go to the lakeside and wait for teacher." Although Shui Dai is a violent woman, she is very good to her little sister, Shui Weiwei. She is very protective of her and even calls her big sister boss. This caused Lu Hanxuan and Bai Kuang to feel very surprised. Qin Yun can understand why Shui Dai has this kind of temperament. It is because she has been through cruel cultivation since she was a child. She does not have any feelings for her family. And when Shui Weiwei becomes gentle, she is just like a cute little sister. Qin Yun left the great ancient college, left the great ancient city, and arrived at a desolate area. He found a very hard boulder and used finger-chopping mountains and rivers to cut the boulder into 2. The area where the boulder was cut is very smooth. It turned into a kilometer-wide flat ground. Then he trimmed it a little, and it was now in the shape of an island. Finally, he refined many large pearls. After carving star and moon runes on the pearls, they can float in the air. Qin Yun embedded the bead inside the small island. Following his control, after the bead absorbed energy, it gradually floated up. He landed on a flat stone island and nodded in satisfaction. "Take it back and build a house or something like that." It took him 2 days to finish the whole thing. Qin Yun stored the small floating island inside the heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron and returned to the dark assemblies area. There are many residences in the teaching area, especially the ones near the lakeside. They are all occupied by many great teachers. Qin Yun arrived at the lakeside and saw Shui Weiwei and others, but did not see Lu Hanxun and Shui Dai. "Where's Lu Hanxun and Shui Dai?" Qin Yun asked. "Sister Shui Dai said she wanted to cultivate. Xiao Lu went to play." Shui Weiwei said, "I made you wait for 2 days. I am really sorry. We will be able to finish building the classrooms very soon." Qin Yun said with a smile, "In these 2 days, the teachers and students of the Dark Assembly only know that Qin Yun has recruited 5 students. They don't know that Shui Dai and Lu Hanxun have also become Qin Yun students." President Su and Yu Feng did not speak about this matter because it would bring trouble to Qin Yun. President Su is afraid that Lu Hanxun and Shui Dai will cause trouble, so he did not speak about it. As for Yu Feng, she is worried that Shui Dai and Lu Hanxun's family will harass Qin Yun, so she concealed it for the time being. There are many students passing by the lakeside. Shui Weiwei, Bai Kuang, and Yin Tianjia have attracted a lot of people's attention. Just as Qin Yun arrived, he saw more than 10 people walking over from the distance. "Lu Chaoshui has arrived." Shui Weiwei lightly groaned and said. Qin Yun looked at Bai Kuang and said with a smile, "Bai Kuang, Teacher Lu wants to take you back." Bai Kuang has been thinking about whether or not he should follow Qin Yun. He found out that Qin Yun is a very good person. Moreover, he is also very mysterious. Lu Hanxun respects him very much. Everyone knows that Qin Yun and Lu Chaoshui have a deep grudge against each other. Lu Chaoshui lost a student and several 100 million star coins to a mid-stage martial emperor. He has lost a lot of face. Now that he found out that Qin Yun students are wandering around the lakeside, he immediately brought some people over. "Oh, Teacher Qin, you recruited 5 students. How come there are only 3 here?" "Oh, that's right. Where's your classroom?" "Don't tell me you don't have classroom." Lu Chaoshui said with sneer. "How about this? You transfer all your students to me. My classroom is very big. I guarantee that every student will have a cultivation room and bathroom." Shui Weiwei yelled, "There's a lot of space here. We have so few people. We can just casually find a place to build a classroom, and it will be very spacious." "Little girl, you don't understand. Do you know why everyone is gathered around the lakeside?" Lu Chaoshui chuckled. "Because this is a holy lake. Being close to the holy lake will help one's cultivation speed increase." Chapter 1080. To steal from others. One of Lu Chaoshui's students smiled. The lakeside locations are all occupied by the various great master teachers, and our Lu Laosher occupies an area of over 100 mu. Another student said, "If the few of you become Teacher Lu students, you can even stay in the super handsome academy. You should know that many of our students have to pay for their own accommodation. The price is too expensive. You want to charge astral coins for lodging? Truly stingy." Shui Weiwei lightly groaned. "Little girl, if you become my student, I can waive 3 months of your accommodation fee." Lu Chaoshui chuckled and said, "Really, if you follow Qin Yun, you won't have any future. You'll have to stay in the great ancient college from now on. Staying beside the holy lake will allow your cultivation to increase, and your comprehension of martial arts will increase. If you stay away from the sacred lake for a few years, you will fall behind the others by a large margin." Gao Kai, who lost to Shui Weiwei in arm wrestling earlier, said with sneer, "Although there are hotels and inns around the lake, they cost 200 million a year. Think about it, and you'll know how important the location next to the sacred lake is." Qin Yun did not know that the lake had such a function because there was no aura at all. "Mr. Qin, don't ruin the future of these students. Please transfer them to me." Lu Chaoshui didn't really want Qin Yun's student. He just felt that Qin Yun would lose a lot of face. In a great ancient college, snatching other people's students is a very prestigious matter. Of course, it would be very embarrassing if the students were snatched away by others. At this time, Yu Feng arrived with a few students. She had been looking for Qin Yun for the past 2 days, but Qin Yun said that he was outside. Now that she knew that Qin Yun had returned, she immediately ran over to take a look. Lu Chaoshui said with a smile, "Teacher Yu Feng, you also came? How about this? You and I join hands and pressure the president to transfer all of Qin Yun's students to us. I won't go back to Bai Kwang. You can have that little girl and that baldy. Yufeng thought for a bit, then looked at Shui Weiwei and said, Little girl, you will have a chance to change classes in 1 month. You must seize this opportunity. This teacher Qin does have some ability, but his resources are limited. Look at you guys, you can't even find a place to stay. Being next to the sacred lake is very helpful for cultivation. Teacher Qin can't let you live next to the sacred lake. 1 month later, transfer to my class, and I'll let you stay for a year for free. Also, I will also waive your tuition fees. Yufeng came here to poach because Qin Yun stole her shui dai. For the past 2 days, she has been very angry thinking about this matter. I won't. I will follow Teacher Qin. Shui Weiwei lightly yelled and pulled Qin Yun's hand. Bai Kwang, 1 month from now, remember to transfer my class, and I won't charge you any tuition fee. Lu Chaoshui said with smile. Shui Weiwei looked at Bai Kwang and said with light groan, Xiao Bai, if you really want to go back in a month, you should say it now, so that Teacher Qin doesn't waste too much time on you. Lu Chaoshui laughed and said, Teacher Qin, are you wasting your time on him? It's Teacher Qin who is wasting Bai Kwang's time. Bai Kwang is a peak martial emperor. He is preparing to undergo tribulation. Teacher Qin was only a mid-stage martial emperor. What could he possibly teach Bai Kwang? Has he gone through a tribulation? Yufeng also said exactly, Little girl, you won't have any future with him. Quickly come with big sister. Lu Chaoshui and Yufeng are urging Qin Yun students to transfer in a month. Xiao Bai, quickly answer me. Shui Weiwei ignored Yufeng and Lu Chaoshui, looked at Bai Kwang and asked, Are you going or staying? Bai Kwang is very conflicted in his heart because he knows that Qin Yun has some ability. Moreover, Lu Hanshun is also in Qin Yun's class. This way, he will be able to curry favor with Lu Hanshun in the future. Although Bai Kwang wants to join Lu Chaoshui's class very much, he knows that there are many students in Lu Chaoshui's class who are very competitive. Moreover, if he joins Lu Chaoshui's class, he will have to pay all kinds of fees, which will cost a large amount of star coins. Not long after he started following Qin Yun, he received 50 million star coins from President Su. This caused him to feel somewhat reluctant to part with it. Bai Kwang, what's wrong with you? Don't tell me that you really want to follow this guy. Gao Kai yelled. Your Bai family people already know about this matter. They didn't come over immediately because they know that you will transfer in a month. Everyone knows that Bai Kwang lost to Qin Yun because of Lu Chaoshui. He is very unwilling to accept it. I haven't decided yet. Bai Kwang grabbed his white hair. His pale face is filled with an awkward expression. Decided? Do you even need to think about this? Quickly tell that little girl that you will leave in a month. Lu Chaoshui said with frown. Qin Yun has not said a single word because he doesn't care whether Bai Kwang stays or not. Seeing that Qin Yun is not replying, Bai Kwang feels even more embarrassed in his heart. He can see that Qin Yun doesn't care whether he stays or not. This caused Bai Kwang to want to stay even more because this is a very rare opportunity. Teacher Qin, I, Bai Kwang, have decided that I will not transfer in a month. If I transfer, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Bai Kwang suddenly said in a loud voice, It seems like he is ready to throw caution to the wind. Lu Chaoshui, Yufeng and other students are staring at Bai Kwang with wide, open eyes in shock. They find this completely incomprehensible. Shui Weiwei looked at Lu Chaoshui and said, Teacher Lu, did you see that Xiao Bai won't transfer? Don't bother him anymore. Lu Chaoshui pointed at Qin Yun and furiously said, Did you use some kind of trick to threaten Bai Kwang? Say something. Why is it always this little girl talking? Qin Yun said with smile, Weiwei is the class monitor of my class. You can talk to her about this trivial matter. Shui Weiwei placed her hands on her waist and said, If you have something to say, you can talk to me. Don't bother teacher. Qin Yun is standing at the edge of the lake, looking at the lake and calculating the distance. He wants to see where he can place his sky island. The lake is very big, one can barely see the mountains in the distance. The mountain in the distance was the territory of the Demon Beast Alliance. Yufeng is also very curious. What kind of bewitching soup did Qin Yun feed Bai Kuang? He actually made Bai Kuang so hell-bent on staying. Yufeng is not willing to give up, she said again. Wei Wei, how about this? You transfer to my class in 1 month. I will give you 100 million star coins and 10 king-quality region origin stones. How about it? Lu Chaoshui said to Bai Kuang. Bai Kuang, transfer to my class in 1 month. I will give you 200 million star coins and 20 king-quality region origin stones. Bai Kuang is a very good student. It can be said that he is the best student Lu Chaoshui has recruited this time. Although Dark Assembly's people know that Lu Chaoshui lost to Bai Kuang, they also know that Bai Kuang will transfer to his class in 1 month. If Bai Kuang doesn't transfer, Lu Chaoshui will lose face again. Because this means that this bullshit teacher Qin Yun has poached Lu Chaoshui's student. Lu Chaoshui is a famous teacher. How can he endure this kind of thing? Therefore, he must poach Bai Kuang no matter what price he has to pay. Qin Yun pointed at the lake and yelled, Wei Wei shall buy it. Yeah. Where do you think we should build our classroom? Shui Wei Wei excitedly yelled. Teacher, will we really build our classroom on the sky above the lake? Qin Yun nodded and said with smile, President Su said that we can. Bai Kuang and Yin Tianjia also arrived at the lake and looked at the location. They feel that the classroom will be very small and the lake will be very big, so they must choose a good location. Behind them, Lu Chaoshui's group suddenly let out a burst of mocking laughter. Lu Chaoshui said with sneer, So that's how it is. Bai Kuang, you are too stupid. You actually believed his nonsense. President Su allowed others to build a classroom on the sky above the lake, but no one can do it, because it is very difficult to fly above the holy lake. Yufeng nodded and said, Teacher Qin, you don't know anything about great ancient college, and yet you are making this kind of promise. You are swindling students. If it was possible to build a classroom on the sky above the holy lake, many people would have already built it. But it is simply impossible. The holy lake has a strange power that can absorb anything from the surface of the lake. This was something Qin Yun did not know about. However, he believed that the floating island he refined could float on the surface. Bai Kuang, don't pay too much attention to the oath you just made. Come back in 1 month. Of course, I can only give you 100 million star coins. Lu Chaoshui said. He is sure that Bai Kuang will come back, so he reduced the benefits. Now all the students understand why Shui Wei Wei and Bai Kuang are following Qin Yun. It is because Qin Yun lied to them that they can build a classroom on the sky above the holy lake. Wei Wei, you are too young. It is normal for you to be swindled by him. You should also know that he only knows how to swindle people, right? Yufeng said with sneer. She feels that she will soon be able to poach Shui Wei Wei. Lu Chaoshui is very proud of himself. He is waiting for Bai Kuang to nod. But Bai Kuang is completely ignoring him. He is seriously discussing with Shui Wei Wei and Yin Tianjia where to build the classroom. Shui Wei Wei pointed at a mountain and said, It is good to build it there. We can see the green mountain below. We can even hear the birds chirping. Bai Kuang said, If we build in the sky above the lake, we can see all the classrooms on the shore with a single glance. Anything is fine, Yin Tianjia said with foolish smile. As long as it is big enough. It is indeed good to build it in the middle because if we stand on the shore, we can see the classrooms, but I like to hear the birds chirping. Shui Wei Wei pouted and said with a conflicted expression, Big sister, we will listen to you. Bai Kuang said with sigh. Lu Chaoshui and Yufeng looked at each other and disdainfully sneered. At this time, Lu Hanshan arrived. Seeing him arrive, many old students hastily greeted young Master Lu. Even Lu Chaoshui yelled with face full of smile. Young Master Lu, long time no see. What kind of wind blew you here? Lu Hanshan knows that Qin Yun and Lu Chaoshui have enmity, so he did not show any good expression and yelled, Bullshit! Are your dog eyes blind or something? Can't you see that I walked here on my own? Everyone is completely stunned. They felt a burst of cold wind blowing over. Chapter 1081. Island in the Sky. Chapter 1081. Island in the Sky. Yu Feng feels that this is very funny, but she did not say anything. She is just watching from the side. Lu Chaoshuai's cultivation and rank are both higher than Yu Feng's. Although his background is also very strong, he is still very weak compared to Yu Feng, the holy maiden of Nether sect. In terms of background, Lu Chaoshuai is even weaker than Lu Hanxin. Lu Chaoshuai's expression is very unsightly. He can only endure his anger and look at the arrogant Lu Hanxin. Even the students behind Lu Chaoshuai are feeling very angry, but they don't dare to say anything. Lu Hanxin's background is very strong. He is not someone they can provoke. At this time, one of Lu Chaoshuai's students said, "Young Master Lu, that big bald guy seems to be your friend. He's been tricked into becoming Qin Yun's student. Quickly persuade him to transfer to our teacher Lu's class in 1 month." Lu Hachun is walking toward Qin Yun. Hearing these words, he flew into a rage and yelled at the black-clothed student, "You, step out for me." The black-clothed student also feels that something is wrong, but he still stepped out. "What did you just say? You said a Jia was tricked? Who tricked him?" Lu Hanshan said in cold voice. The black-clothed student looked at Qin Yun, but Shui Weiwei glared at him. He said in low voice, "He was tricked by a despicable and shameless bastard. Fuck your grandpa." Lu Hanshan slapped the black-clothed student's face, causing him to roll on the ground. The black-clothed student covered his face. His expression is filled with fear and doubt. He doesn't know why Lu Hanshan slapped him. "Young Master Lu, he is my student. You are slapping him in front of me. You are not giving me any face at all." Lu Chaoshuai's expression is very gloomy. He is cursing the black-clothed student in his heart for speaking so much and causing trouble for him. Naturally, he is also cursing Lu Hanshan in his heart, this arrogant profligate son of rich parents. "I recommended a Jia to teacher Qin. He said I am despicable and shameless. He cursed me in front of my face. If I don't hit him, should I hit you, teacher?" Lu Hanshan groaned and then walked towards Qin Yun. The black-clothed student is completely stunned. He has a powerful family behind him. He knows that Lu Hanshan and Yin Tianjie are friends, but he did not expect that Lu Hanshan would recommend Yin Tianjie to teacher Qin Yun. Lu Chaoshuai was stunned as well, because the development of the matter had exceeded his imagination. "Teacher, I went to pack my things." "Oh, that's right. When will our classroom be ready?" Lu Hanshan asked with smile. Lu Hanshan called Qin Yun teacher. Aside from Yu Feng, Lu Chaoshuai and others are completely dumbstruck. Lu Hanshan has actually become Qin Yun's student. Everyone knows that Lu Hanshan came here to waste time, but he also cares about his face. Even if the teacher Lu Hanshan is looking for isn't very good, he can't be too bad. But now, Lu Hanshan actually changed classes and became Qin Yun's student. This was definitely an explosive piece of news. The student who was beaten up and Lu Chaoshuai were speechless. After all, that student was in the wrong first. He was only slapped, which was a very light punishment. Lu Chaoshuai feels as if he has seen a ghost. Qin Yun pulling over Shui Weiwei and Bai Kuang. It can be said that Qin Yun has a divine skill of swindling people. But who was Lu Hanshan? That was a wily old fox, not someone who could be easily fooled. But now, even Lu Hanshan is very respectful toward Qin Yun. This caused many people to suspect whether or not Qin Yun is the illegitimate son of some great person or something. "Teacher, when will the classroom be ready? I really want to see what kind of place it is." Lu Hanshan asked. Qin Yun said with a smile, "I will take it out now." Lu Chaoshuai and Yu Feng looked at each other, because it seems like Qin Yun is very serious. Other students also don't dare to speak anymore. Lu Hanshan is now Qin Yun's student. If they dare to mock Qin Yun, they will be beaten by Lu Hanshan. Qin Yun took out the heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron and pointed it towards the sky. The space above the holy lake suddenly became somewhat distorted. The heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron shot out a white light, and a huge illusory image suddenly appeared. Ho! A burst of wind blew over from the sky, and a 1,000-meter wide small floating island appeared in the sky above the holy lake. This floating island cannot be said to be very big, but it is more than enough for Qin Yun and others. Moreover, it is above the holy lake. Lu Chaoshui is so shocked that his jaw almost dislocated. His eyes are wide open as he looked at the floating island in disbelief. Yu Feng is also extremely shocked. She really did not expect that Qin Yun would be able to make such a dreadful floating island. Teacher, you are too awesome. I, Lu Hanshan, am indeed not blind. Lu Hanshan laughed heartily. Bai Kuang, Shui Weiwei, and Yin Tianjie are extremely pleasantly surprised. They originally thought that the classroom would be very small, but now they can see that it is actually a small floating island. Yu Feng and Lu Chaoshui students are all extremely jealous and cried out in alarm. The sky above the holy lake is a cultivation ground that many people yearn for day and night. But because there is a special power below the holy lake, many inscription masters are unable to refine a magic tool that can float above the holy lake. And now Qin Yun has such a thing. Moreover, it is very big. The floating island is more than 2,000 meters away from the lake shore, but it can be seen from the shore. Even though it is very far from the holy lake, it can still be seen from the shore. This immediately alarmed many teachers and students. They rushed out one after another and ran towards the shore. How are you going to go up? Yu Feng asked. Her ice-cold eyes are filled with jealousy. Qin Yun took out a very large flying disc and said with a smile, Come on up. Shui Weiwei jumped and bounced on the floating island. Bai Kuang, Lu Hanshan, and Yin Tianjie also very impatiently want to go up and take a look. Let's go. Qin Yun said with a smile and then controlled the flying disc to fly towards the floating island. Just as a large group of people arrived at the shore, they saw Qin Yun and a few students flying towards the floating island. They immediately let out cries of alarm. Lu Chaoshui is completely dumbstruck. He's just standing there in a daze. He finally realized why Lu Hanshan and Bai Kuang wanted to be Qin Yun students. It is because Qin Yun has some ability. Yu Feng groaned. She is secretly envious. She also wants to discuss with Qin Yun later to see whether or not she can buy a floating island with star coins. Qin Yun led a few students and flew towards the floating island under the astonished gazes of a large group of people. Lu Hanshan is standing on the flying disc. He looked at the shocked people on the shore and laughed loudly. These idiots. They even dared to belittle teacher. Now they have become idiots. Shui Weiwei very excitedly said with a smile, Teacher, can we plant some flowers and plants on the floating island? Of course you can. Qin Yun patted her head with a smile. Teacher, can I build a very big house on the floating island? Yin Tianjie asked. Of course. Teacher, do we have to pay star coins to live on the floating island? Bai Kuang is very worried about this issue because the cost of living for a great teacher is very high. Lu Hanshan also wants to ask this question. No need, it is free. Moreover, you can build your own house on the floating island. Qin Yun said with a smile. Very good. I, young Master Lu, will be able to boast for the rest of my life. Lu Hanshan is grinning from ear to ear. Everyone is very curious about how Qin Yun is able to fly on the floating island. It must be known that even many experts of great ancient college can barely fly on the floating island. Only Yu Feng knows that Qin Yun is using some mysterious runes to make the floating island float. Very soon, Qin Yun arrived at the floating island with a group of very excited students. After arriving, Qin Yun took out a house from his storage magic tool and said, This flying disc is for you to use. Go buy materials to build your house. You can build whatever house you want. I am very tired. I will go rest first. Teacher, you must be very tired because of this floating island. Leave this matter to me. Shui Weiwei took the flying disc and said. Qin Yun entered the house to rest. Shui Weiwei rode on the flying disc and carried Lu Hanshan and others. Under everyone's envious gaze, they flew across the lake shore to buy materials to build the house. Yu Feng is very amazed and envious as she returned to her small manor. There are many houses in the manor. All of them are her classrooms. Although it is located on the lakeside, it is still far from being comparable to Qin Yun's floating island. Shui Dai is still cultivating in the manor. I will quickly inform her about this matter, and then ask Qin Yun where this floating island came from. Yufeng has made up her mind to buy a floating island. Just as Yufeng returned to her manor, a student ran over and yelled, "Teacher, President Su has arrived. Why is this old bastard looking for me? Could it be that he thinks my beard is too long?" Yufeng muttered and then walked towards the door. As soon as President Su saw Yufeng, he hastily asked, "Little witch, how did that Qin Yun create the floating island?" Yufeng coldly groaned and said, "I also don't know." "What? Didn't you want him to scram before?" "Yufeng, you must have known that his origin is not ordinary. Why didn't you tell me about this? You are swindling me." President Su thought about it and said angrily, "Qin Yun has no origin. He is a friend of my friend's friend's disciple. He found this floating island." Yufeng promptly lied. She cannot let President Su suspect that Qin Yun is an inscription master. Unless Qin Yun finds a powerful backer, it will be very troublesome if he is exposed now. Really? How can his luck be so good? How can he casually pick up such a good thing? I have lived for so long. How come I have never picked up such a good thing? President Su said with disbelief written all over his face. Believe it or not. Yufeng coldly groaned and said, "If you don't have anything else to say, quickly scram. I am very busy." President Su turned around and flew away. He is thinking about this matter on the way. Yufeng hastily went to find Shuedai and told her about the floating island. Shuedai doesn't believe her, so Yufeng brought her to the lakeside. Chapter 1082. For ranking Shuedai, you also looked down on him before, right? Yufeng said. Indeed. What exactly is your relationship with him? Shuedai suddenly became very curious and asked. He is the friend of my friend's friend's disciple. Yufeng said. Shuedai naturally doesn't believe her. She has been with Yufeng for a long time. She knows that Yufeng and Qin Yun's relationship is not ordinary. At this time, Shui Weiwei's bell-like laughter can be heard from the distance. Seeing Shui Weiwei and the others, Shuedai flew over and landed on the flying disc. Then they flew towards the floating island. Yufeng took out a sound transmission magic tool and sent sound transmission to Qin Yun, but Qin Yun did not reply immediately. Qin Yun is crafting a talisman inside a secret room on the floating island. With this talisman, one can fly to the floating island. He is crafting this talisman for Shui Weiwei and the others. Shui Weiwei and the others have already bought many materials. After they landed on the floating island, they immediately started building their own house. Shuedai took out a small pavilion from her storage magic tool and began helping Shui Weiwei plant flowers and trees. When Teacher comes out, this place will become a beautiful island. Shui Weiwei very happily said, Teacher is truly awesome. Even though he is only a mid-stage martial emperor, my intuition tells me that he is more awesome than many teachers. That's for sure. Lu Hanchen is very clear about Qin Yun's strength. He was almost killed by Qin Yun before, so he only feels deep reverence towards Qin Yun. Young Master Lu, you seem to know Teacher Qin very well. How did you get to know him? Bai Kuang asked. He suddenly feels that his luck is very good. If Lu Chaoshui did not defeat him at Qin Yun, he would not be able to live freely on this unique floating island. This is something he can use to brag about in the future. My eyesight is very good. I feel that he is a very awesome person, so I want to curry favor with him. Lu Hanchen said with thick face and smile. Young Master Lu's insight is like a torch. I admire you, I admire you. Bai Kuang said with smile. Shui Weiwei looked at Shuedai and said with smile, Big sister, Teacher can surely make our strength advance by leaps and bounds. He is very awesome. He only casually helped me before, and I was able to defeat Gao Kai in arm wrestling. I'm a half immortal. He can't guide me, Shuedai said. Not necessarily. I feel that Teacher is an unfathomable person, Shui Weiwei mumbled. All right, when I need guidance, I will ask him. Shuedai nodded. After a day, several houses have been built on the floating island, and many trees, flowers, and grasses have been planted. Yin Tianji's house was the largest and also the simplest. It was made of large bricks, with only a single room in it. Lu Hanxin's house is a 3-storied circular building. Shui Weiwei lives in Shui Dai's small pavilion. She did not build her own. As for Bai Kuang's house, it was squarish and painted white. It was clear that he liked the color white very much. The appearance of the floating island not only shocked the entire Dark School district, it also caused a commotion in the other districts of the great ancient college. Many students from other districts had only heard of it, but they did not come to watch, because the Dark School district and the other 2 districts are enemies. Many students of the Dark School district feel very envious whenever they look at the floating island. They want to go take a stroll and even become Qin Yun student. But then they thought about how Qin Yun is only a mid-stage martial emperor, so they dispelled the thought of changing classes. Lu Hanxin's decision to change classes caused many students of the Dark School district to be amazed. But then they thought about how Lu Hanxin is someone who loves to put on airs, so it is not strange that he changed classes to live on the floating island. Early morning, Qin Yun came out of his small pavilion and saw the earth-shattering changes outside. He is very happy. Teacher, these flowers, grasses, and trees were planted by us. Are they beautiful? Shui Weiwei saw Qin Yun and immediately ran over. Very beautiful. Qin Yun nodded and said with smile. Bai Kuang, Lu Hanxin, Yin Tianjie, and Shui Dai also hastily arrived. These talismans are for you. Qin Yun took out 5 jade talismans and handed them over. When you fly up, take out these jade talismans and it will be fine. Remember, don't speak of this matter to anyone. If anyone asks, just say that I picked them up. Understood. Shui Weiwei and the others nodded and took the talismans. Before, they could not fly because they would be pressed down by some kind of power. But now, they can fly as they wish. This caused them to be very happy, because flying on the surface of the Holy Lake is something that only half-immortals can do, and it is very difficult. But now, they can easily do it. Qin Yun looked at Lu Hanxin and Shui Dai and asked, I have become a teacher and accepted 5 students. What should I do next? How can I increase my rank? Shui Dai said, there are 2 ways to increase your rank. One is to make contributions to the teacher or compete with other teachers to gain points. In addition, your students can make contributions or you can compete with other students to earn points. I am a first tribulation half-immortal. If I win a battle with a second tribulation half-immortal, teacher will gain 20 points. If I win a battle with a first tribulation half-immortal, I will gain 10 points. Every student can only compete 5 times a month. If I have time, I will give you 100 points in a month. Lu Hanxin said in low voice, Teacher, I already said that I am very weak. I won't be able to give you any points. Shui Weiwei also feels guilty and said, Teacher, I am also very weak. I won't be able to give you many points, but I will still compete. Teacher, I will do my best to give you points. Bai Kuang also said, I should be able to win every battle. Yin Tianjie very confidently said. Shui Dai said, Teacher, you are only mid-stage martial emperor, so you won't be able to compete with other teachers. Apart from you, all the teachers in Dark School District are half-immortals. Qin Yun did not expect that it would be so difficult to increase his rank. Lu Hanxin said, Teacher, there are 2 rankings. One is the ranking of the entire academy, and the other is the ranking of Dark School District. If you are strong enough, you can compete with the teachers and students of the other 2 districts to increase your rank. Shui Dai nodded and said, Obtaining the ranking of the entire academy will also increase your rank in Dark School District, but it will be even more difficult. Holy School District and Demon Beast Alliance's people are very strong, and they don't understand each other. Qin Yun sighed. It is indeed very difficult to perform well and be accepted as a disciple by Nether Sect. Oh, that's right. What is contribution? Qin Yun asked. It is to help the Nether Sect solve difficult problems and then obtain points. The points are very high, but those problems are very difficult to solve, and there are even casualties. Shui Dai said, In any case, I have never done it with Teacher Yufeng, and she also rarely does it. Lu Hanxin nodded and said, Many teachers don't go because they will die. All right then, I will first guide your cultivation so that you will become even stronger in the martial arts competition. This is what teachers should do. Qin Yun said with a smile. Teacher, are you serious? Lu Hanshan asked in amazement. What? You think that I'm a teacher who idles around like you? Qin Yun shook his head and said with a smile, You come in first. This will I be alone in the secret room. Lu Hanshan said in fear. Everyone's cultivation is a very secretive matter. Moreover, I will point out your weakness. Sometimes, everyone's weakness is a secret, so we should talk in private. Qin Yun said with a smile. So it's like this. Why did my previous teacher guide me like this? That guy actually doesn't value me at all. Lu Hanshan thought for a bit, and then followed Qin Yun to a secret room. Qin Yun closed the door to the secret chamber and said, Xiao Lu, your martial spirit is a black bat martial spirit. This is a pretty good martial spirit. How many spirit veins do you have? Lu Hanshan's expression became very helpless as he spoke of this matter. He said with a sigh, I only have 4 spirit veins. This is a trash constitution. I never told anyone about this. Not even my previous teacher knew about it. If I did not have a group of old bastards behind me who gave me all kinds of resources, I would not have been able to become peak martial emperor at such a young age. Teacher, I am hopeless. I tried my best, but because I have too few spirit veins, I fell behind in all aspects. You don't know, there are some late-stage martial emperors with 8 spirit veins who can beat me until I can't even retaliate. Qin Yun thought for a bit and said, Xiao Lu, if I can improve the condition of your spirit veins, will you be able to become stronger in a short period of time? This, of course, I can. If I had 6 spirit veins with my clan's resources, I would surely be able to beat those people on the same level as me until they eat shit. Lu Hanshan is very confident but then became very depressed. But this is simply impossible. Tell me, my parents, my grandparents, they all have very good aptitude. Why am I such trash? Could it be that I was picked up from the streets? Qin Yun shook his head and said with a smile, Release your martial spirit. Lu Hanshan released his martial spirit. It is a black bat. Qin Yun grabbed the bat and said with grave expression, Relax, don't resist me. He took out mental resonance Shin pen and began carving runes on the bat's back. Lu Hanshan's mouth is wide open looking at this. He is so shocked that he is speechless. Soul refining, yes. Qin Yun laughed, and then continued carving runes in earnest. Lu Hanshan knows that Qin Yun is a very strong inscription master, but this is the first time he is seeing Qin Yun carving runes. He is also a very experienced and knowledgeable person. He has also seen inscription masters carve runes, but their speed is very slow. Not long after, Qin Yun finished carving 9 condensation, sun rune, and fire totem on Lu Hanshan's martial spirit. You better keep this matter a secret. Even if your family asks, don't speak about it. Lu Hanshan immediately took out a soul contract talisman and signed it with Qin Yun, agreeing not to divulge anything about today's matter. He is now very excited because Qin Yun is a soul-refining inscription master. He is carving runes and totems on his martial spirit. If he wants to spend star coins, he will have to spend a lot of them. Lu Hanshan took out a Regent Origin Stone and absorbed it. He very excitedly laughed foolishly and said, Very good. I can now absorb 7 types of energy. This is 7 spirit veins. Then you must tell me your more points. Qin Yun said with a smile. Of course. Lu Hanshan very excitedly said. Chapter 1083. Nether Sect Shui Clan. Lu Hanshan said with disdainful expression, Big sister, don't be afraid. Where's that old man? How dare he casually come to our territory? I will immediately go and drive him away. Lu Hanshan's martial spirit has been transformed by Qin Yun, so he has become even more confident. He rolled up his sleeves and rushed out. Xiao Lu, don't be impulsive. Qin Yun chased after him and yelled. After arriving outside, he saw 2 blood-red lights on the ground in front of him. One is a red-clothed Shui Dai, and the other is a red-clothed, red-haired old man. They're standing more than 10 meters away from each other. Their bodies are releasing blood-red light, filled with blood energy. Lu Hanchen was originally very imposing, but as soon as he saw this scene, he immediately shrank back. "Teacher, don't go over there. That old man is from Nether Sect's Shui clan." Lu Hanchen retreated behind Qin Yun and said in grave voice, "It seems like he is Shui Dai's elder. It will be very troublesome." Qin Yun said with frown, "Senior, please don't cause damage in my territory." That red-clothed old man did not even look at Qin Yun. Instead, he coldly looked at Shui Dai and said, "That brat is your teacher? He is far inferior to you, but you chose to become his student? You are just trying to escape from us. Indeed, I have had enough of you all these years. I don't want to be monitored by you. If you still consider me your granddaughter, then quickly leave this place and don't destroy this floating island." Shui Dai said in cold voice. "Oomph, I want to destroy it. Let's see what you can do to me." The red-clothed old man looked at Qin Yun and said, "If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. You don't have any skill, but you are extremely audacious. You dare to accept Shui Dai as your student. You brought this upon yourself." Shui Weiwei and the others' expression greatly changed hearing this old man's words. They are very fond of this floating island. If it is destroyed, they will die of heartache. Moreover, this floating island is the best cultivation ground in the great ancient college. At the shore of the lake, President Su looked at the floating island and said with smile, "Shui Dai's grandfather is already on the island." "Ha ha! It seems like the floating island will be destroyed very soon," Yu Feng said with regretful expression. "It is truly a pity that the floating island will be destroyed." Lu Chaoshui said with a smile, "This Qin Yun really doesn't care about his life. In order to gather enough students, he even dared to accept Shui Dai. Shui Dai is the most talented disciple of Shui clan. If nothing unexpected happens, she will surely become an elder of Nether Sect in the future." President Su shook his head and sighed. Qin Yun doesn't know anything. He recklessly accepted Shui Dai. He brought this upon himself. The floating island suddenly trembled. The onlookers at the lakeside all exclaimed in surprise. Many people hoped that the floating island would be destroyed because it was something that they were very jealous of. If the floating island was destroyed, they wouldn't be able to see the island that everyone yearned for, and they wouldn't have to be jealous. "You really want to destroy my floating island?" Qin Yun's expression suddenly turned gloomy as he roared, "Old bastard, quickly stop." The red-robed old man laughed maniacally. "Ha ha! I will destroy your floating island. I will let you know the consequences of accepting Shui Dai." Ha! The red-robed old man's laughter resounded throughout the lakeside. Everyone is looking at the floating island being destroyed in the sky with great anticipation. "Wei Wei, Xiao Lu, Jia, Xiao Bai, take out your jade talismans." Qin Yun yelled in deep voice. Shui Weiwei and others hastily complied. Shui Dai also took out her jade talisman. It will allow them to easily float above the holy lake. At this time, the red-robed old man released a frantic and ferocious energy. At the same time, Qin Yun used the Nine-Sun Divine Spirit to store the floating island inside. The people at the lakeside cried out in alarm. The floating island has not been destroyed. It has been stored into a storage magic tool. To be able to store such a large floating island in one breath, the storage magic tool must be very high quality. This brat, how can he have so many treasures? President Su's old eyes turned red with envy. Although Yufeng knows that Qin Yun is a very awesome inscription master, she is still very shocked. While everyone is exclaiming in alarm, they saw Qin Yun flying towards the red-robed old man. The power released by the red-robed old man hit empty air and landed on the holy lake, giving rise to a huge wave. Many powerful teachers hastily rushed over to block the wave so that the buildings on the lakeside won't be destroyed. The red-robed old man was originally standing on the floating island. With the support of the floating island, it was very easy for him to move. But now the floating island has disappeared, and he is being pressured down by the mysterious power of the holy lake. It must be known that the red-robed old man is high up in the sky. The higher he is, the more pressure he will have to endure from the holy lake. The sudden disappearance of the floating island means that a very strong pressure is pressing down on the red-robed old man's body. The red-robed old man is panicking out of fear. He managed to stabilize his body, but he is still falling down at a very fast speed. Qin Yun flew over in a flash and took out the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. Bang! The red-robed old man landed inside the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. After Qin Yun closed the lid, the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron began shaking nonstop. Old bastard, you want to destroy my floating island? Do you know how serious the consequences are? Qin Yun coldly groaned. Golden light flashed in the sky. Then the space distorted and a huge floating island appeared. All the people on the lakeside are as shocked as stone statues. That red-robed old man is an elder of Nether sect, yet he has been captured. This is a very serious matter. The crowd burst into an uproar. An elder of Nether sect has a very noble status, yet he has been captured. Yu Feng is extremely shocked. She took out a sound transmission magic tool and sent sound transmission to Qin Yun. President Su and other Nether sect disciples also sent sound transmission to Nether sect. This is a very serious matter. Lu Hanqin and Shui Dai's expression is filled with shock. They saw with their own eyes how Qin Yun threw the red-robed old man into the cauldron. Pa, teacher, what happened to my grandfather? Shui Dai looked at Qin Yun with incomparable reverence in her eyes. He is fine for now. I will lock him up for a while. Qin Yun sighed and said, I originally did not want to be so high profile, but that old man is too arrogant. Not even 2 days after my floating island was built, he destroyed it. Isn't this the same as stepping on my face? Lu Hanqian said with somewhat trembling voice, Teacher, well done. Well done. But that old man seems to be an elder of Nether sect. Shui Dai nodded. Grandfather is the clan chief of Nether sect's Shui clan. He is also an elder. Shui Dai, release your grandfather or not. You have the final say. But you must guarantee that they won't harass me again, otherwise I won't be polite. Qin Yun said, Your elders will surely come again. At that time, tell them to sign a contract with you that they won't interfere with your freedom and also won't harass us. Shui Dai's red eyes flickered with red light. This is her chance to completely break free from the supervision of her elders. Shall Bai come in? Qin Yun walked towards his room. Bai Kuang is very nervous in his heart as he followed Qin Yun into his room. Bai Kuang said, Teacher, what do you want to teach me? Qin Yun said with a smile, Your martial spirit is very special. It can allow you to obtain formidable power. However, your body has a weak point. It is that you are unable to control that berserk power. When I was arm wrestling with you, I could clearly see this point. It is indeed so, but my elders said that only after I become half immortal will I be able to control that power. Bai Kuang said, That is not the case. Qin Yun took out the mental resonance Xian pen and said with a smile, Release your martial spirit. Bai Kuang released his martial spirit. It is a white-colored martial spirit. It is filled with berserk power. There's a berserk totem on it. It can make your power become berserk in an instant, but you don't dare to release it because you are worried that you won't be able to suppress it, right? Qin Yun asked. Bai Kuang is very amazed because this totem is there by family's secret, and Qin Yun can recognize it with a single glance. What caused Bai Kuang to be even more amazed is that Qin Yun carved totem on his martial spirit. To be able to carve runes and totems on his martial spirit, he must be a soul-refining inscription master. Teacher, you are the legendary soul-refining inscription master? Bai Kuang suppressed the shock in his heart and asked, Indeed, don't talk nonsense about this. Qin Yun said with a smile, I know what to do. Bai Kuang gulped down a mouthful of saliva and promptly nodded. Qin Yun carved a tree totem on Bai Kuang's martial spirit. Then he told Bai Kuang how to control the tree totem to restrain the power of the berserk martial spirit. This way, even if the martial spirit enters berserk state, the tree totem can restrain it. Bai Kuang became very excited after hearing Qin Yun's explanation. He wants to immediately give it a try, but he is still not familiar with controlling the tree totem. He can only wait until he is familiar with it. Just like Lu Hanshun, he signed a soul contract to not divulge this matter to anyone. Bai Kuang opened the door and saw Xue Dai waiting outside. Qin Yun and Bai Kuang stayed inside the secret room for more than an hour. During this time, Xue Dai and her elders have finished discussing. "Teacher, my elders want to meet you. Do you want to meet them?" Xue Dai asked. "I won't meet them for now. I want them to know that I won't meet people casually." Qin Yun thought about it and said with a smile, "Indeed, teacher is an expert. I must have the demeanor of an expert. I won't meet any random cat or dog." Lu Hanshun did not continue because those people are Xue Dai's elders. They're all experts of Xue clan. They're not some random cat or dog. Qin Yun took out the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron and said, "Xue Dai, report this matter to your grandfather so that he doesn't act recklessly when he comes out. Grandfather, all the elders of Xue clan have signed a death contract with me. They promised not to interfere in my matters. And you must not destroy this floating island or cause trouble for Teacher Qin, otherwise their lives will be in danger." Xue Dai said in cold voice, "Wretched girl, quickly tell that bastard to release me. I will agree to anything you ask of me." The old man yelled. Qin Yun came outside and released the red-robed elder. You are quite capable," the old man said. His sound transmission magic tool has received many sound transmissions, and he no longer dares to act recklessly. He left with belly full of fury. "Teacher, you are now Nether Sect's enemy. Dark Assembly is a faction of Nether Sect." Xue Dai said, "It's fine. As long as we are strong enough, many problems can be easily solved." Qin Yun yawned and said, "I am going to rest. I will continue teaching you tomorrow." "Oh, that's right, teacher. I heard that a very strong new half-immortal has arrived in Holy Assembly. His name is Su Xiaoba. He said that he knows you and wants to beat you to your knees. Do you want me to teach him a lesson?" Xue Dai asked. Su Xiaoba. Qin Yun is stunned. Su Xiaoba should have joined a holy sect and become a disciple of a holy sect. But now, he is in the great ancient college. Chapter 1084. Spider Spirit Qin Yun doesn't know much about Xue Dai's situation, so he doesn't dare say that she can defeat Su Xiaoba. "I will go now. I am your student. He will surely accept my challenge." Xue Dai finished speaking and flew away. Qin Yun really did not expect that Su Xiaoba would come to the great ancient college. If those people from transcending Xianxi region come, then he will not be able to conceal his venerable master status for long. "I have to get to the Nether Sun Star as soon as possible." He really wanted to get there quickly, but he didn't find the way. According to the information he has gathered these past few days, he has come to realize that the people of the Nether Sect are very inflexible and will not bend the rules in the slightest. They had set a rigid rule, so they had to follow it. "Xiao Lu, go and inquire about Holy Institute's situation. See if there are any other formidable new students other than Su Xiaoba." Qin Yun said, "All right, I will go immediately." Lu Hanshun hastily flew away from the floating island. Qin Yun originally wanted to rest, but now he can only give pointers to Yin Tianjie and Xue Weiwei. Yin Tianjie was brought into the secret room. Qin Yun first checked his martial spirit and then asked a few questions. What surprised him the most was that Yin Tianjie was very outstanding. Apart from being a bit dull, he was also very strong. Yin Tianjie's martial soul was a tool martial soul, and he had refined it into his life weapon, making it as powerful as sword cultivators. Other than that, Yin Tianjie's burly body wasn't weak at all. Yin Tianjie even complained that his power was not violent enough. In order to make his power even more berserk, Qin Yun carved Thunder Totem and Fire Totem on the pillar so that he can release berserk thunder and fire power. After learning about it, Yin Tianjie was overjoyed. He grinned from ear to ear. After Qin Yun finished carving the thunder and fire totems, Yin Tianjie hugged the pearl and became very excited. At this moment, he could also feel that his power could be converted into the violent power of thunder and fire. He didn't ask Yin Tianjie to sign a soul contract with him. He just told him not to tell anyone about this. Yin Tianjie was an honest man, and he would do what he had promised. Shui Weiwei has been waiting for Qin Yun outside. She is looking forward to it in her heart. When she saw Lu Hanshun and Bai Kuang coming out, she saw how happy they were. Yin Tianjie walked out of the secret chamber with a big smile on his face. Weiwei, it is your turn, Qin Yun said with smile. Shui Weiwei nodded and hastily walked in. After Qin Yun closed the door, Shui Weiwei said in low voice, Teacher, they're all very happy. It seems like teacher is very skillful. Of course, Qin Yun said with smile. Teacher, my water martial spirit is very ordinary. Do you really have a way to make me stronger? Shui Weiwei is very worried because both Yin Tianjie and Bai Kuang are very strong. Although she was the big sister, she was the weakest one. Of course, Qin Yun let out Shui Weiwei's water martial spirit. Shui Weiwei's water martial spirit is a red variant martial spirit. This variant martial soul was very mysterious, and it was impossible to determine its exact situation. A variant martial soul would evolve with the improvement of a person's cultivation. Some people had to cultivate their cultivation to a certain level before they could evolve their variant martial souls. Sometimes it would evolve earlier, sometimes it would evolve later. Qin Yun's research on variant martial spirits is not enough. Yi Yaoshue's martial spirit is red. Moreover, it is a heavenly rune martial spirit. It is very similar to a variant martial spirit. Qin Yun once suspected that her red heavenly rune martial spirit is a variant martial spirit that has evolved to its limit. Qin Yun is hesitating whether or not he should carve totem on Shui Weiwei's martial spirit. Because he cannot stay beside Shui Weiwei all the time, if something happens, he won't be able to deal with it. Feng Honglan, Yuan Yinying, and Hong Mengshu also have red variant martial spirits, but their situation has already stabilized. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, no need to worry. Variant martial spirits have one special characteristic. They have very strong adaptive ability. They can adapt to any kind of situation. If you carve totem on Weiwei's martial spirit, maybe after her martial spirit evolves, it will become even stronger and more mysterious. That is indeed good, but I am worried that this little girl won't be able to handle it. Qin Yun looked at Shui Weiwei. Shui Weiwei's eyes are wide open. She is looking at Qin Yun with expression filled with expectation. She hopes that she can quickly receive pointers from him. Weiwei, relax. I'm going to carve something on your martial spirit. It will be best if you close your eyes. Qin Yun smiled and gently caressed her beautiful hair. Shui Weiwei closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Qin Yun took out the mental resonance Xian pen and began carving totem on her martial spirit. Since variant martial spirits have very strong adaptive ability, I will carve some more totem on her martial spirit. Although Weiwei is very young, her cultivation is not low. She has enough time to familiarize herself with all kinds of totems. Qin Yun has also decided what kind of totem to carve. He carved dragon totem, thunder totem, moon totem, and tree totem. Altogether, there are 4 kinds of totem, and they are all very good. It was a great challenge for Qin Yun to carve so many totems on a martial spirit. What caused Qin Yun to be pleasantly surprised is that the variant martial spirit did not reject the totem at all. Instead, it allowed the 4 totem to coexist harmoniously. Shui Weiwei can sense that her martial spirit has undergone a great change. Her martial spirit was originally red. It looked like a ball of water floating in the air. But now there are 4 kinds of totem inside the red ball of water, flickering with even more intense red light. Teacher, what is this? Shui Weiwei said in amazement. I can sense that my martial spirit is very lively. It has very strong power. Weiwei, these are totem runes. I put them on your martial spirit. I will now explain to you how to use them, how to comprehend them and obtain totem inheritance. Qin Yun, is also very curious about how Shui Weiwei's martial spirit will evolve in the future. Of course, it is impossible to see it in a short period of time, so he can only wait until later. Shui Weiwei's eyes are wide open, filled with amazement. She is very excited as she earnestly listened to Qin Yun's explanation. Less than half a day later, Shui Weiwei finally understood her own situation. Weiwei, your martial spirit will evolve, but it is unknown what it will become. Moreover, there will be some danger. Although there will be danger, I believe that you will be able to deal with it on your own. This will also be a test for you, Qin Yun said with grave expression. Shui Weiwei earnestly nodded and said, Teacher, I am not afraid of anything. I will surely become stronger. These talismans are for you. Qin Yun took out a 9 condensation Dao talisman and said, Stick this talisman on the Regent Origin Stone, and you will be able to absorb its power very quickly. I will not guide you on how to cultivate and how to use cultivation techniques. Shui Weiwei has cultivated to late-stage martial emperor on her own, and she is only a little more than 10 years old. It is clear that her perception and talent are not bad. Shui Weiwei tested the talisman, and the Regent Origin Stone released a lot of energy, causing her to let out a delicate cry in alarm. Go back and properly cultivate. If there are no accidents, you will become peak martial emperor very soon, Qin Yun said with smile. At that time, I will surely help teacher earn even more points. Shui Weiwei is very happy. She ran out of Qin Yun's secret room and hastily went back to cultivate. Qin Yun continued to stay in the secret room. Yao Fong told him that Long Tianji, the poison dragon spider, has finally broken through the spider's silk and came out. Long Tianji's awakening means that she will be able to eat dragon meat. Qin Yun let Long Tianji come out. Long Tianji has now successfully transformed into a human. She is no longer that big spider from before. She has become very charming. She is a seductive fairy. Although she is wearing clothes, they're made of thin black spider silk. They're transparent and wrapped around her fiery hot body. She has long and smooth hair draped over her shoulders. Her hair is also made of spider silk. It can become long or short at will. Master, Long Tianji gently yelled after coming out. Many thanks to Master's dragon meat. It allowed me to transform into a human so quickly. She is now very loyal to Qin Yun. This is mainly because of Yao Fong. You should also thank Sister Yao Fong. She has helped you a lot. Later you should learn from Sister Steam Bun and Water Fairy. Let them teach you how to dress up. You look like you are not wearing anything. Qin Yun laughed. Long Tianji's shapely eyebrows are slightly creased as she said in low voice. Sister Tianzi said that Master likes my dress up very much. This water fairy is teaching bad people. I am not that bad. Qin Yun cursed in low voice. Let Sister Steamed Bun teach you. Don't randomly learn from this water fairy. Long Tianji nodded her head. Tianji, where are your small spiders? Qin Yun asked. Long Tianji lightly waved her slender jade-like soft arm, and several black light balls appeared. Many small poison dragon spiders drilled out of the black light balls. Summoning divine ability? Qin Yun said in amazement. More or less? Long Tianji asked in soft voice. Master, what do you need me to do now? Can your small spiders enter the water? Qin Yun asked. They can, Long Tianji said. Qin Yun wants to investigate this mysterious holy lake. There must be something hidden in this holy lake. Nighttime, Qin Yun let Long Tianji wear clothes and then brought her to the surface of the lake. Long Tianji summoned several hundred poison dragon spiders and sent them into the lake to investigate. We'll go up and wait. Qin Yun saw that the poison dragon spiders can easily and quickly move around in the lake and felt relieved. He brought Long Tianji back to the floating island. After returning to the Nine Sun Divine Soul, Long Tianji can still sense the poison dragon spiders. The holy lake is very big. It is impossible to find any result in a short period of time. Late at night, Qin Yun is inside a secret room with his eyes closed. Can one's perception really increase by cultivating near the holy lake? I don't really believe it. To verify it, He wants to practice 9 extinction steps. 9 extinction steps comes from 9 Extinction Heart Sutra. It is a very profound martial art. Although Yang Shuriwa has organized it, it is still very difficult for Qin Yun to learn it. Now he has only comprehended 3 steps of 9 extinction steps. They're all very profound and unfathomable footwork. Apart from 9 extinction steps, there's also piercing heavenly finger. It is also a very strong cultivation technique. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.